father is a Caucasian man, right?
Yes.
All right, you are what your father is. That's
Mm.
easy. See how
Well,
God take all that out the way, all that confusion out the way. God take the confusion out the way. Negroes want to think, have a different thought than what God has, thus keeping ourselves in the cycle of confusion, never coming together and uniting and having an answer. But God clear all that up. But the problem is with God's children is we think we know better than Him.
so do you not allow people in your organization who are not black by that criteria?
Well, we only allow people within our organization that would be the children of Israel, cause because Israel is a man, so he had children. Those children had children, which became the nation of Israel. So if the seed that is within you does not trace back to him, you can't be a part of us because you're not a part of that nation. Just the same way that I could never be a white man from the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. I
But it
can
all
never be
traces
a
back to your father.
Chinese. I can never be a Chinese because I like anime. I can never be an East Indian because I eat curry food. That doesn't change my lineage of who I am. So therefore, they can't come amongst us the same way I couldn't be one of them. They can't be the children of Israel just the same way I couldn't be one of them.
So the answer is that no, you don't allow anybody, even if they consider themselves black, to be in the
Yeah,
organization.
that's what I said, and then I went on further to expound on what that meant.
Right. No, I understand that it's simple enough for you to read that
And
and then
and
have
and
that
the
be
re-
the
and you
rule.
know what's the problem we have as black folk? Nobody else is trying to include black people in their shit, but black people want every other race in their stuff. Ain't we ain't learned yet? That's how we've been destroyed. You let white people in amongst our civil rights things, and it immediately was destroyed. You let white people in your HBCUs, and now it ain't as black as it was. We always trying to integrate with other people, and other people ain't trying to integrate with us. That's the mind of a slave, the enslaved.
Z.
Hey, Judd, go ahead, man.
AZ, they had a black hiking group on Facebook, right? And
Uh-huh.
like black people was coming together to do hiking. And then some white people wanted to come in there. Do you know the group got shut down because the black people was arguing about whether or not they should let white people in? And the person got
Wow,
mad and just shut the group down. I said, man,
wow,
black people fucking stupid.
wow.
Like they got so many white groups on Facebook to where, that they won't let black people in. And us is like, well, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I don't understand it. What's the big deal? I mean, well, why are you in a black hiking group if you don't want black people only in the group? It don't make any sense. Like black people are retarded.
Yeah,
I
that's
used
like
to
the
wonder about
Facebook
that.
group.
How
That
this
is the
dude King
union.
keep black
Jude,
people
that is the
retarded?
union.
Black people retarded. I mean, I'm just telling you, like, black people are retarded. It's for
No,
some
not
reason.
everybody.
So some reason we don't want to have our own nothing. Like we want white people. Oh, you invited to the barbecue? No, the fuck he ain't. He is not invited to the barbecue. He invited to the cookout. What? Why are we trying? Why do we want our slave master everywhere we gotta be? And then we'll argue with ourselves over it for some strange reason. White people done all this evil to us, and then we like, oh yeah, but God loves them. How? What God love them? Like that's the thing. I'll be tripping that out. Like, what God loves the people that continue. This is not like they stopped. They continue to commit genocide. They continue to divide nations. They continue to rob nations. They continue to kill. I mean, everything they've ever done, they have never stopped. They just found a better way of doing it.
That's prejudice.
And for some reason, who said that's prejudice?
There were white abolitionists, people
All
that were
right.
civil rights
Yeah, we
movement.
about to peace out, bro. This
If I
prejudice. I
disagree,
don't
you
want your
kick me
coon
out for
ass in here.
disagreeing.
You out. Yeah, you out right now. And you blocked.
Adios.
Yeah, I can't deal with that dude. But I just don't understand it. It's the weirdest thing to me. I don't understand black people at all. I I don't get it.
Yeah,
But
but aren't there at least two different types of black people? If we're gonna make a generalization, can we at least agree that there are at least two different types of black people? In that,
I know because I found because sometimes we'll say it's black people and niggas, but I done
or
heard like
house and field, which one are you?
I done heard house niggas and field niggas feel the same way. Like
No, no.
like
What do you consider yourself?
they
What
got
are you?
field niggas that'll talk about white people and then you say white people can't go to heaven and then all of a sudden, well why not? like like so I think they still fall in that category. I done seen field niggas say, y'all racist.
Right, but in order to make a house Negro, there needs to be a house, right? There needs to be a structure in place that is even setting up this dynamic, right?
Nah, I mean they make house Negroes in Africa. Like they'll just say, hey, look, we like y'all better than we like these other Africans. So go and kill them.
Okay, so there at least needs to be a white power structure that is attempting to divide and manipulate the
And we
black
let them
person.
do it. And we let them do it.
Well, that would be my point, is that some of them, some black people did resist and revolt and did not, quote unquote, let them do it. And those were the ones that were deemed more difficult and left out in the field. The ones that were more docile and more agreeable to your point of the FBA people were allowed to be upgraded, I would say, to the status of House Negro. So I'm just trying to get you to admit that
No, I
from
don't. I don't. I don't. I don't say that because I
so
mean
what did I say? What did I say
when
was
you
incorrect? I
when
pretty
you
much
when you
yeah.
look at history, right? You can't say docile when one black group will come and commit genocide on another black group because white
No, no,
people
no. I
gave them
mean that
power to
in
do
order
it.
to
So
be a in order to be a
you
house,
wouldn't say they were docile. When you think about like Hotel Rwanda and stuff like that, the other
but
group
in
wasn't
Africa, that's not on a
docile.
plant. That's in Africa. That's not on a plantation though. I'm talking about what that you needed to be docile and agreeable to be upgraded and allowed into the house. Don't you agree with that? They're not letting some wild dude out. The whole thing of like your name is Toby. They have to beat it out of you. So I'm just kind of saying, kind of like this is, what I think is just general
I mean, they
information.
beat it out of everybody. I mean, they was the field niggas was still working in the field.
Right, but why did some revolt and run away and some didn't?
Man, I don't know.
Okay, so
Opportunity.
they weren't all the same.
Well, I mean, some people had different opportunities.
Well, we of course I'm not pretending to know, and
I mean, I really
I'm not
don't know.
pretending that you I'm
You
not
know,
pretending that
I
you
don't know. I
know
don't.
the
Like I said, yeah,
specifics.
we talking about something. Like we talking about now. I mean, I can't do nothing about what happened in slavery. Some slaves jumped off the boats and said, "Fuck this, I'd rather die." So, I
Right.
mean,
So those are not the same. Wait. So you just made my point. You
what
said
I'm saying is
I
that
would rather die.
some of
I
that
would
is a
rather die than
mental.
go through this. I
Some
would
people
rather
is a
die than
mental
go through.
thing. Some people, but we talking about now. We're talking
Right. I
about right
understand
now.
that, but
We can't use those people now. They're dead. So
no,
we're
no.
talking
Now is
about
a
black
product
people
of the
right
past.
now.
Right, I understand that, but now is a product of the past. Now didn't just pop up out of nowhere, and you're using terms like house Negro. So there's really no problem with me going back to the
I didn't use
foundation.
House Negro. You did. I didn't
I'm
say
House
anything
Negro.
about a House
House
Negro.
Negro is in the title.
I didn't use it.
Okay, you are in a room. I believe you're a mod. If you're not a mod, I apologize. I'm not looking at my
No,
phone.
I'm a mod. It
Okay, so
says
then
it's the
you know
movement,
that.
a
So
house
why you
nigga
doing this with me
movement,
right now, man?
not
Why you doing
not
this
a
with me right now, man?
lineage.
Why you doing this with me right now?
No,
I think you know what I'm
we're
saying.
talking about people right now, though. We're not
I
talking about
understand. And so
slaves.
my question was, okay, right now, aren't there at least two different types of black people in America based on the fact that the plantation purposefully divided black people into house Negroes and field
A
Negroes? Do you
house
think
nigga
that
movement. This is why we say a house nigga movement. What we saying is that you got people arguing about their master. That's what
right?
we mean when we say a house nigga movement. Like my master is the British man. No, my master is this man. No, my
I
master
understand
is
that,
the
but my
Portuguese man.
question
My
so
master it's not going into the mindset of the person, like, I want to obey my master or anything. It's going into, we're arguing about which master we got. We separating ourselves by our master, whether we be in the field or in the house. We're arguing about, well, the Frenchman is my master. Well, okay, the Portuguese is my master. Well, no, Great Britain is my master, so I'm separating from you. That's what we meant by that. It may not have been clear.
Right,
How
but
will you separate yourself when you in the same
Because you
country?
got to think about it. You got black people in America that's saying that we shouldn't deal with the black people in Jamaica and that we shouldn't deal with the black people in Grenada. That we're separating ourselves by slave master. We shouldn't deal with the black people in Guyana, or we shouldn't deal with the black people in Trinidad. Well, what are we separating ourselves by? Because you
right,
live
but I,
in one of these countries, your accent gonna change, your culture is gonna change, the food that you eat gonna change, the spices that you use for your food, the season is gonna change. So what are we really separating ourselves by? We separate ourselves by slave master.
okay, but what if it's two countries that have the same colonizer?
Well, we're still separating ourselves by slave master. I mean,
Right, but I'm saying if
I
they
mean,
have
what
the, if
what are
they
we
have the same,
using as what are we using to
that's my
separate
point.
ourselves in America as
No, no,
FBA from Jamaican? What are we using? What are we really using to separate ourselves?
I don't know. I haven't heard their argument. That's why I asked you. What if it's two
Oh,
countries that
then
have?
I mean, then I mean, it, that's what they're using. They say I was born in America. That's what they're saying. I have an ancestor that was born here by a certain date. Something. Well, the FBA movement is kind of scattered too because they have different things. But for the most part, you've been here. You have an ancestor that was here by a certain date, right? So if a Jamaican, somebody, the same person that came from because from this point in Africa made it to America, right? But their other family members got dropped off in Jamaican. So now they're different people. That's stupid.
Oh no, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I
it's a
I was
dumb
talking about
movement.
I was talking
So
about
that's why we
your
say, is it a lineage or is it a house nigga movement? Because if it's a lineage, then how do we decide our lineage that differs from somebody in Guyana, somebody in Jamaica, somebody in Trinidad, somebody in here, somebody there? How do we find that difference, right? Or is it just a house nigga movement? Well, this white man was my master, so I should get money.
Hmm.
And the 12 tribes chart is about lineage. It's not slave master. So whoever said that in the chat, you're an idiot. It's about bloodline lineage. That's how we do it. It's not a I was here, so this is there. So this is my nationality. Whoever, I've just kind of seen that in the chat pop up. So that's the
What do you
question. When we say house nigga, we're not talking about, people that gave in or whatnot. We're asking like what kind of movement is this? What do we base it off of? So we're just saying that I'm in America. The boat left my forefathers here, and they didn't get off at this stop. So now I'm different than the same people that was taken from the same place that was dropped off here. That doesn't make any sense. Or maybe we just need a real FBA person to explain it. Are there any real FBA people in the room? Okay, so it sounds like a house nigga movement to me.
yes? Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
All right,
Who are you? Who are you?
I'm Judd.
Oh,
Who-
I cannot hear you.
Why? Did you have a question or something? Something you wanted to add to the?
I don't understand because I didn't came in the introduction on the topic, but I came in the middle, so I don't understand. What is this FBA? Like, what is represent? Is it
Yeah.
the movement or?
Yeah, if you probably just want to just chill and listen then, because if you don't even know what it is, it's gonna be a difficult conversation.
Okay, but what is the issue with the Jamaican and the Black American? What is the difference? What is the
I mean, I don't think it is a difference.
okay? Yeah. So like, what do you mean by the house nigga? House niggas?
I just explained
You
it.
mean the house niggas is those that? No, because this is a new word to me. You know, I'm African, my friend. So I don't know what is house nigga, and you know.
Oh, so wait, so this is good. This is good. So, sir, since you're African, we have as Americans, or I should say, I as an American, I'm subject to what gets put on my screen, right? And before we even had our own phones where I could look up something, I would just be fed what was on the TV. And we didn't, when I was really young, we didn't even have cable. So like we would get fed all these stereotypes about Chinese people and African people and Arab people. That's why in all those Die Hard movies, all the terrorists are always mostly Arab people or whatever country that we're fighting. So I guess from your outside perspective, when you see specifically like American black people, like not Jamaicans, not people in the islands and stuff, but just specifically like American black people, and what you see on your screen, what is your impression of black people? If I could ask such a general question.
Is it to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like,
Okay.
do you think that black people in this America? I guess I'll be more specific. Do you think that like, and I'm saying African Americans, just to be specific. Do you think that from what you see in your country getting exported, as far as what we do and we create, that we are a positive people that are heading in a good direction, or that we are a negative people heading in a bad direction, or any combination that you see fit?
Well, what I see the negative part from you, Black American, uh, is the way how you divide yourself, and even you reducing your populations in regard, because to make you be strong, I think you guys need to form a good union, and all these criminal activities, it should be stopped. That, and also, uh, the Jamaican is your brothers, you know. So if we talk about the descendant of Black American and Jamaica, you all descend them from Africa, all right? So and what do you guys need to do more to empower yourself? I think uh, you should be seeking your your I mean your original land, rather than, you know, should be seeking for your original land right now. So that can make you, yes, I know you guys, the Black American are doing great, but it's still that, okay, let's say we have African continent is big, so you should know where's your descendant, your great grandfather. We have a land, you can come and do your business there, invest there. But like now, let's say you're investing there and then your society is not even benefiting. So you should think twice where your original came from. Yes, I understand you have been there for 400 or 200 years, but it's still, because whatever is going, the division, because this is the how, you know, like in Africa also, the same thing, divide and rule. You know, that is why you see some conflict in Africa, because this is what the white man have invented, or the Arab. For us, I'm a Sudanese, we are dealing with the Arab, and we never give up. We still, until how many send the creation? We have been dealing with them until now. We never give up, or we never give surrender to them, you know. And that is a God power. And God has promised us the land, and we will never give up to them. We will fight until to the end. Yeah. Because we have a completely different history, you know. Maybe the West Africa have experienced slavery from the West, but we experienced the slavery from the Arab.
Hey, God, did
See?
he answer your question?
Yes, no, I appreciate it. I didn't mean to take it over. I just thought that I thought based on our conversation that before he even got, you know, what I'm saying, if he doesn't even know what FBA is, that would have been a good moment to get that response. And I did. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate that response.
And you know, the funny part about it is that we all have a common enemy, and the common enemy is the one that makes sure they see the part that makes him judge us the way he do. And it's like the FBA is saying, look, let's separate from the people that's being poisoned by our common enemy to make us all look bad and to be separate from each other. The FBA is like, let's beg our common enemy for money. It's just it's weird. It's a weird movement that I definitely don't understand, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It's the weirdest movement ever.
But yeah, but it's not gonna make sense. But the
No, not what you said.
this,
I'm talking about the FBA.
uh,
I don't think you know who they are, but yeah, they don't make sense at all. They make no sense.
what I was saying, you know, like why the unity very important, you know. Like let's say in this world we have a different identity. We have a white man, black people, Arab or Indians. If you look at them society, how they united, you know, which is make them strong and powerful, and also they become the world powerful world in the world because of the unity. But for us, I put in general, we black people, we we are the most strongest. But what have uh, you know what destroy us because we don't have a unity, you know. And
And
I
and
believe
that's
we could,
and that's
and I
the
believe
that's the
we
reason
could
why
rule the world.
that's the reason why, we push our movement the way we do, because we are about bringing our people together under God's laws, right? If we follow God's laws, we will unify just by keeping those commandments. But the problem is that we have so many people. Like, you'll have people that that are well off, right? Black people that's got businesses, that's got stuff going, and so we'll say motion, right? But they still go to the strip club. So it's like you get to a point to where I'm good, and that's all that pretty much matters. We don't have that mindset to help our other people and join with our people and treat our people a certain way. We get, it's like, yeah, I'm at a strip club. It's like, yeah, there's somebody's daughter in there, right? So I'm giving her some money. So we kind of we jacked up. We build and destroy all at the same time.
Oh, I think I get it. I think it's that like Obama isn't African American because when I look it up, it says this sense of separation is not a rejection of their racial identity as Black people, but a deliberate emphasis on their unique lineage, history, and political interests in the United States. So they're saying terms like African American and Black American are too broad, and that they want to be considered a specific ethnic group that faces specific problems that like somebody who was parents were born in Africa and then they moved here and they're 20 years old, but they were born in Africa. They have a completely different lineage, as you were pointing out, and history and I guess social issues and and demands. I don't know. I'm
But
not
but
really
see, but
I'm
the
not really
thing
picking
is
up any
when
of
you
the.
start, when you I grew up in a different neighborhood than E grew up in. Like I'm different than that would make me and E different. I probably grew up in a different community that ZB Real grew up in. I probably could have grew up in a different place than you grew up with. We are gonna be different when things like that. You know, some people grew up in the South, some grew up in the North, some grew up in another planet called California. You know, like we are gonna be different when it comes to location, cultural things. We're gonna be different. It's like it's a weird thing to do is to try and separate a lineage based off of how you
Also,
grew up.
and also, if I may add, it's just to add it to it. The pioneer of this particular movement, for some reason, he likes to exonerate himself from this movement. You know, he definitely established it. Um, he's when he was on TV with Vlad. Vlad had asked him, "Hey, listen, so is Drake, FBA?" And he said no. He said no, Drake is not FBA. He said, but his father is from Memphis. His father is from Memphis. So he was like, yeah, his father's from Memphis, but he was raised in Canada. But if it's a lineage, if they say you say it's a movement, they get mad and go, no, it's not a movement, it's a lineage. Well, his father is from here. His father's from Memphis. So how do you go from saying that Drake is not an FBA if his father's roots are here? His lineage goes back here. But because he was raised over there, he's not FBA. Doesn't make sense. That's like if me hypothetically, if I got involved with a Japanese woman, let's say I was a military man and I went out there to Japan and I messed around with some Japanese woman, got her pregnant. I was like, nope, I ain't taking care of that kid. That ain't my kid. You know it is. And I leave that child in Japan and I live here. And then that child gets older, gets his passport or whatnot and comes here and looking for me. And then I end up, his mom dies or whatever. And then that child comes over here, to see me and I end up raising him or whatever, right? Later on. That child's not FBA. If he's from me and I'm from here, then his lineage goes back to here. But the founder of this movement said no, he's not FBA because he's raised on Canadian values. So it's like it's make believe. It's not even genuine. It's a bunch of emotion. It's an emotional movement. It's not even you can't just say it's lineage because the founder or pioneer of this movement just said openly that Drake is not foundational when his roots go back here. Even though he was raised in Canada or whatever, Canadian born, his father's from here. So it's very, very weird. It's just a weird, this unexplainable doctrine that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So so these things. If you ask them one of these questions, hey, is Drake foundational? Most will say no, and they're gonna look real stupid if they say it's lineage and say he's not foundational. So just don't put that out there. Okay.
No, that's a terrible answer. So hopefully, I mean, and yeah, it's terrible that he kind of put that out there. But it seems like the that line between Canada and America is kind of just as imaginary as anything else, if that makes sense. I mean, he's kind of just making it up.
You're right.
If we're
Yeah,
just
even
if we're
that.
just
It's
making
the same
if we're
place.
just making a division,
You're
but then where does it stop? Because if you go back far enough, then aren't all people the descendants? Aren't all human beings the same descendant or come from the same descendant? Or do you not believe that? Do you believe that there was some sort of like separation in the
no,
past?
no. Even in that, I mean, God just biblically speaking, God divided everyone, but everyone does have the same origin. That I can grant you. Everyone don't come from the same man. Woman, man, and woman, yes. So in that respect, yes, we all do come from have the same origin in that respect. But in terms of this particular topic, like the point I made, the pioneer of this movement, the one that everyone seeks to and runs to and backs, that pushed this particular instant thing, this create the sheet, he professes that he's not the leader of the movement. It's not really a movement. It's just it's a lineage. And when asked that question, I was his answer. So so now, whenever I encounter someone that says that they're FBA, I'm going to ask that same question that Vlad asked him: is Drake FBA? And if they give that same answer, and they give that same stupid response that he gave to Vlad, It's going to be embarrassing. It's an embarrassment. And when you go in the comments of that particular video clip, people are like, so what? So what? Because black people, whenever they're faced with logic or reality, then it goes from, so what? What a minute ago, it mattered when it made sense to you. But then when logic is introduced, now, so what? So it's very nonsensical, you know? But to answer your question, genetically speaking, everyone does go back to the same origin, but biblically speaking, in terms of God picking and choosing who He chooses, that's where the distinction lies. Yeah.
Right, but obviously Drake is not African American. But see how like we're just even so stuck on, well, he's not, he's, that's what I mean, that line in the sand. So why doesn't it make sense to go back as far as you can and not add these? Because I'm agreeing with you as far as what I understand so far about FBA, other than them being like a feeling like a smaller marginalized group in a larger group that's being inundated with people that they think are not, they not like us. I can understand that. I don't agree with it, and it doesn't seem helpful right now. But then that's my same point about, well, then why don't we just go back and instead of seeing any other human being or group of human beings or country or race as my quote unquote enemy because of what they've done, I go back further enough because the Bible is saying that we're all coming from the same people. So any type of division is kind of unnecessary, right? Or can be
So,
detrimental. If I'm really trying to get some stuff done and I go to the job site and there's a white guy and a Mexican guy and a black guy, instead of me just seeing them all as people and getting some work done, if I have some sort of problem with the Mexican guy and then I'm like I put him on something that he's not, you know what I'm saying? Like as soon as you start to divide yourself amongst people, isn't that starting to be a problem? Being that when you make generalizations like, well, white people did this, it's usually not most of the white people, or I can't stand that black people do this, it's usually not most of the black people. It's usually kind of like these anecdotal examples, you know what I'm saying?
but yeah, in terms of you mentioned getting, well, it depends on the scenario you gave. Well, a Mexican and a white guy getting things done. Whatever. If you got things you gotta get done, you gotta get done regardless. I get it done. If I'm tasked with something, depending on the situation, me and a white guy and a Mexican guy have to get it done, I get it done. I'm not gonna allow me to go, oh, he's white, I'm not working with him. No, that's different. But the topic at hand is referring to the movement that's called FBA, where Black Americans in particular are dividing themselves against Caribbeans, Black people, or people Black of the continent. That's pretty much the premise of the room. Not so much other races outside. We're not talking about that at this point. That's another topic. But in terms of Black Americans saying, "Hey, you're Haitian, I don't deal with you. You're an immigrant," or "You're Jamaican. We don't have no parts with you. You don't deal with you." Or people from the continent. Oh, we don't. We're not from that continent. There's so many different facets or ideologies that revolve around this doctrine or this particular notion that it's confusing within itself. So in terms of like white folks, that's another different topic in terms of like how to deal with them, whatever they've done. Because right now their track record is pretty bad in terms of actions. I'm not saying all of them have done terrible things, but their history written by their own people is not a good one in terms of their actions, even up until now. But again, that's another topic. But the FBA thing in particular is the focus at this point, and when it comes to this particular topic at hand, the issue is that Black Americans are, J. Edgar Hoover made it clear, when he formed the whole quote-unquote thing, that the biggest threat to national security is Black unity. And so to have a notion come along, and to try to popularize, oh, because Haitians come to America and look down on blacks, we shouldn't deal with them, or Jamaicans come to America, look down on blacks, you shouldn't deal with them, or people from Africa come down, look on blacks, you shouldn't deal with them. And it's like, well, from when I was younger, I used to always make fun. I had a friend that was from Africa. We made fun of him all the time. I've heard stories of people who are from Jamaica and Caribbean, where Black Americans would make fun of them all the time, and whip their ass and rob them and all kind of stuff. And this is not all Black Americans, but I have come across many people from the islands where you Haitian. Like I heard when I was younger, I heard the term coconut. I know what that meant until I got older. You that freaking coconut. That's a coconut. That's a derogatory term for a Caribbean person. But that's my own direct family. So I've heard these things when I was young. But it's anecdotal because I can't speak about all Black Americans doing the same thing. But Black Americans, apparently, they've all decided, I guess, well, this particular group has decided to come together and say, we will have no association with these particular other blacks because they don't deal with us. And it's like, okay, well, they come over here with that mindset because the same system that colonized them colonize us, colonize them. So them coming here with that mindset, with that divisive mindset, is the same root that we had the divisive mindset among ourselves over here. So what benefit is there to be mad at someone for sharing the same oppressive colonial mindset that you and your kind stuff over here? It doesn't make any sense. That's pretty much the premise of the room. It's like you're trying to different. You're mad at someone for saying something about Black Americans because they come here with that capitalist, quote unquote, capitalist mindset. I'm gonna come to America. You blacks are lazy, y'all, so that, and then we'll say, oh, well, if we want for us, you guys won't be allowed to come to the country, and that's true. That's very true. But a lot of the benefits that black folks or black folks that fought for us that we have here now in the states. A lot of these young dudes, YNs, they don't give a shit about MLK. They don't know who he even is. A lot of them, they don't know who Marcus Garvey is. They don't know who Malcolm is. They don't know who freaking Medgar Evers is. A lot of these young Black Americans who've been and born and raised here, they have no care or concern for these heroes of the 60s and 50s. And the caliber of men and women of today are nowhere in comparison to the caliber of men of the 60s and 50s. So it's like you're mad at them for disregarding our black heroes and pioneers of the past, but we're this pretty much a lot of black Americans are the same way. They don't give a shit as long as they can get money, go on Instagram, be on social media, be on TikTok or whatever, whatever. They don't care about none of that stuff. So it's like, are you gonna cut them off too? It's just it's a very emotional ideology. Just from what I'm seeing, this the excuses, the reasoning, the illogical explanations. It's not even a true thing. It's a social media, I will say a trend. To be honest, that's how it comes off. But if they're trying to make this a thing, it's not going to work. It really isn't.
Right. So there's a derogatory term in Spanish that I'll say Mexicans born in Mexico, they have a derogatory term for, this is gonna sound weird, Mexicans born in America. Even that sounds like, aren't they Americans? Well, you know what I'm saying. It made more sense when I just said it the regular first way. So even that's kind of stupid and silly. But moving past that, if then Mexicans in America want to say, well, look, because we're this, and even though we come from this, but now as time goes on, Latin X is not it's not specific enough. We want to be known as Mexican Americans or whatever it is. Wouldn't that make sense? Because they feel that their specific Mexican American experience is different than the broader Mexican experience. Because I wouldn't have a problem with that. And so far, I haven't really heard FBA, and obviously there's no one here to represent, but I haven't heard them actually say something disparaging about anything negative. I've only heard a couple of people
Yeah,
in this room say that they don't want to like deal with black people or that they don't like
but
black
they
people and stuff
don't.
like that.
And
But
now they're
but
starting.
that must be not
Yeah.
part of their tenant. That
Now they're
must be
starting to fight. Now they want to fight Jamaicans. There's videos online right now, of them basically saying they're gonna do like what's going on in South Africa, that they're gonna start running Jamaicans and Haitians and stuff, out of businesses and stuff like that. This is where it's about to turn to.
right. But if I get one video off of 42nd Street of a Nation of Islam guy saying, or Hebrew Israelite guy saying that the white man is the devil and all of them need to be taken out, just
The
because
white
he
man
got
is the
caught,
devil.
and he needs to, and all of them need to be taken out.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying I need to kill them, but they don't need to be here. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
Right, right. But okay, but
what
even if
good
you
do they
believe that,
do?
that's
But this the
these
thing,
are not
okay?
the right, right.
Like you get one person, but when you can watch Tariq Nasheed, I forgot the black lady name. You can watch their what they say. They definitely talk trash about um Africans and Caribbeans. It's not. We're not just saying I
Right, right,
saw
right.
one person do it. This is what they stand for. We shouldn't deal with them. We shouldn't allow. We shouldn't do business with them. We shouldn't allow them in our spaces. We shouldn't allow them in our neighborhoods. This is what they stand on. You know,
Ooh,
this
oh, maybe
is,
it's a psyop. Maybe it's just a
you
further.
know,
Maybe it's just how more can we divide everybody? How
well,
more can we divide
I
people?
think it's a white man movement. You know, if you ask me, I don't. A lot of these movements, I don't think this is a black. It's like Black Lives Matter. You know, if you ask me, it's basically white people trying to figure out, you know, put people in different places to get stuff done. You know, so we never come together. So that's what I think it is personally. Uh, you know, and it's a low hanging fruit movement. You know, it's like I one thing I remember as being like a operations manager is my numbers can be down. You know, my inventory turns could be down, but when when my boss came in the door, if the store was clean, I didn't get much BS. So I said I made sure, hey, the store need to be clean. This need to be done. This could be done. This got to be done. All low hanging fruit, not really dealing with any real issues, just dealing with the things that people see. That's what I think the FBA movement is. It's like you want to deal with Jamaicans. It's like, yeah, but what about this Chinese dude right here? These Trinidadians. They look what they come here and they get loans. It's like, what about the Jewish people? Like they don't just get loans. They get everything. You know. Well, look at these people here. It's like you're dealing with the low hanging fruit. You're dealing with oppressed people that you know won't be able to use their unity to mess with you. You know, you're not. You know, you don't want to deal with the white man. You know, so I'm gonna deal with this other oppressed person that look like me. It's just stupid. I don't get it. Like you know, I wish we could have a real SBA person here to really give us an explanation of what they plan to gain by this movement, because it just doesn't make any logical sense. So if we're getting mad because we just want to call ourselves something different, we call ourselves Israelites. Who cares? Like I'm just saying, like you know what I'm saying. If I say it's like, well, what are you? Are you African American? No, I'm an Israelite. You know what I'm saying is are we really about to do this? You know, like we'll say, you know, yeah, you know, black people is like nobody's black, like, but you know what I mean. You know, are they doing this because they want to have a name that can be called, and they know the white man say you're a nigga, it don't you know, is what are we doing? It's fantasy land.
Well, that almost sounds like, respectfully, when you start talking, then you say too much, because that's how many people view the black people or Israelites. It's like, yeah, you can call yourself a Jew, but it's like you're just still a black person to anybody
But
who's
it
walking
doesn't
around.
matter
Well,
what
I'm
you
saying
say
in the same way,
about.
in the same critique that you had about the other side, I'm saying you could
Well,
do the same critique about you, where you're trying to come up with a word that makes you different, and
but
then go
we're
after.
not trying to come up with a word. Like most of the FBA believe in the Bible. Most people in the United States of America believe in the Bible. They believe it to be a factual book, right? So we're not just making something up. We didn't just come up with the term Israelite.
Well, anybody who believes that they are the main character in a book, to a certain extent, is either making it up themselves or they're adopting the idea of somebody else. Just like
Okay.
you didn't come up with the idea that, because when I asked you, you said, "Well, let's go to scripture," pointing out specifically that, my bad, car going by, pointing out that you didn't come up with this idea that black is only paternal. You know what I'm saying? So you are adopting somebody else's words, somebody that you don't, that you've never met. So in a way, you
Well,
are
we're
trying.
adapting the words of God, and
Well,
that's
again,
the
I mean,
thing. But
that's an
the
that's a
thing
that's a claim.
what that's the thing, you know, it comes into what I'm saying is that the majority of the people here in America believe that this is the word of God, and a
Yeah, but
lot of people.
appeal to a majority is not a good argument, though. I could just say a lot of people think that black people steal, and then we're both standing on the same footing. A lot of people think isn't a good. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
what I'm saying is this is not something made up. You
Well, it
know,
is made up.
the
It's
word the world that you live in, the date when you go to a calendar is set up by according to Jesus Christ. You know, when you when you say what day it is, the law system that you live by is set up by the Bible, the judicial system. That's biblical. You know, you live your life mostly based off of things that's in a book called the Bible. So we can't just make it like it's just a, well, it's just a little majority thing. It's not a big deal. Like the world is mostly run by people that believe in this religious book, and things are mostly set up by things that's in this book. We have lived our lives based off of this book. Now that black people are starting to say, wait a minute. And you know what? And we're not taking it off just by what black people are saying. We're going in the books that were written during a time where they never thought black people were going to read these books about the history about who we are and who the Israelites are. And now we're bringing it to light, and they're saying, well, you guys are racist for saying this. It's like, no, this, who Esau is written in white people books. You know, who Ammon is, or who these people are, is written in books that y'all never thought we would ever read. So now we're reading them. Now we're buying them, spending, crazy amounts of money to find these books that's been hidden with our history in it. And so now people say, well, this is just something that y'all made up. It's not something that we made up. It's something that's purposely being hidden from us. When you question a Jewish person about, wait a minute, y'all don't fit anything that it says in this book that you live your life by, that the majority of people of the world live their life by, that people are being killed and murdered by nations live by. It's like, well, you don't fit this. I fit this. It's not something that we are making up.
But
Nobody's
it
making
is
that
though.
up.
It is,
How?
sorry. It's made up in that a human being wrote it. And if there was, even if there was one book, like let's say all of
Then
humanity,
everything's made up, sir.
I know, I completely agree. We're imagining it. So the
Yeah,
majority.
everything is fake. At that point, everything
No,
is
no, I'm
fake.
not saying
Nothing
that
matters.
everything. I'm not
It's
saying
like
that
it doesn't
everything.
make sense to even be in a room having a discussion because everything is made up. Because
Well, no, I think
everything
that's
that
what
we,
I
everywhere,
believe this is called fatalism,
everything that we
or take
live
my
is
choice.
written down in a book somewhere. Everything's
I
made
believe
up. Then
I believe what you're doing is either called fatalism or like take my toys and go home, where I attack one point and then you say, oh, okay, well, if that, then nothing is.
well, I can't argue a point when you say it's written in the book, so it's made up. If man wrote it as made up, then we can't even, I can't argue anything with you because everything is written down, so everything will be made up. So you're putting me in a position to where I can't say anything. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
I'm gonna take
so
my
you
ball and
can't
go home.
even you can't even
well,
understand a world where you could be wrong, or where that
well,
book
it's
could be wrong.
well. The
Different
thing
things.
is about the Bible. Read Isaiah 34 verse 16, and
It's
this
been a
by far is
while.
the best part here about the scriptures, right?
And then can I ask a question about a specific scripture? Because I think we talked about this long enough. If there's
Yeah,
no
man.
FBA here, then it's just us talking about
Yeah. Read Isaiah 34:16. By far, this is one of the best scriptures to me about the Bible with people that don't believe in the Bible. Read that if we have a reader. Maybe we don't have a reader. Dang, we've been on here this long without a reader.
it. I could go to it, but I want to
No,
read
no,
mine
it's all
first.
We
good.
had a
Is that
reader. Let
fair?
me see.
I want to read mine first. Is that petty? No, which one did you say first? Isaiah
Nah,
what?
we got it. Isaiah 34:16. I can say it from memory, but I don't like doing that. So Isaiah 34:16 says, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate, for my mouth has commanded, and his spirit it has gathered them. Right? So it's going into the prophecies of the Bible, saying that they are going to be fulfilled. So now when we look at when you find a book that tells black people who they are, what happened to them, things that was said that was going to happen. We read the Bible, we read about things that was going to happen to a group of people. When we go to those things that happen to that group of people, they are identified as the Israelites. When you look at the history of black people, this is what happened to them. This was written before these things happened, and it's still happening. We still see it happening today, to this day, to our people. When you go through those curses, when you go through those prophecies, we see it today. So at the end of the day, we could say, well, I don't believe in this book. I don't believe it, this and that, this and that. It's like, yeah, but It said this was gonna happen, and look, it happened. It said this was gonna happen, and it happened. It said this was gonna happen, and it's happening. This was gonna happen, that was gonna happen, that was gonna happen, that was gonna happen, and all these things happen. Even to the point of them making a white image of Jesus Christ and pushing it as theirs, and people being put to death if they don't believe in it. It all happened. All of this stuff happened. So we can say, yeah, man wrote it, right? But if I wrote a book about you and you said, well, this is just man made, but it was written before you were born, and then we start reading the book, and it's like, wait, didn't you go to this school? Well, it said in this book you was gonna go to this school. Well, didn't you? Didn't this happen to you? Didn't you fall and break your knee and you got to get knee surgery? Well, look, the book says this happened. At some point, we have to start saying it's not just a book and it's not just something man made at some point. But
So
if you don't
are
believe it, then it's like I can't make you believe in something like that. It is what it
are
is.
there other
You can see
are
it.
there other groups that also match the?
No,
No, there's no
and
other
we
groups.
argue this all the time. Even Jewish people won't even step up to the plate and say that these things pertain to them. They'll never do that. We've challenged them to deal with this forever. They'll never stand up and say. That's why Arthur Koestler made a book called The 13th Tribe. He said because if he and this is a white man, and he's like, if the so-called Jewish people are the Israelites, then there has to be a 13th tribe because none of this stuff has anything to do with them. None of it.
Hmm. Okay. Well then, yeah. Then if we're then yeah, then I can
But for the
not
most
have a
part,
problem.
our own people that have the mindset that you have, you can't, they don't want to be, you can't sit down with them and go through it and go through these things. Because they fight for it to be wrong. The open mind is not there. Some people fight for things to be wrong. And at that point, you can't waste your time. You gotta move on to the people that want to do what we're doing. We have facilities open all over the world. We have school systems set up all over the world. Um, so we got to move with the movers. The people that don't want to move, that want to sit here and say, "Well, it's written by a book." We can't waste time on them. Because every movement tells people, "Well, you should be doing this. You should be doing that." We've been doing that for 20. We've been doing those things.
Well, that's
It's
fine. I
the
mean,
it's the
there's a
same
lot
it's
of
the same system. The
Scientology's
same.
been around for a long time, but I question any
Well, no,
movement
that's
or any
that's fine. What
I
is
question any
Scientology?
movement or any
I mean,
leader
like,
that asks me
what?
to stop with my critical thinking. If you're telling me
No,
that
you can
then you're
critical
telling
think
me,
all day. You
oh,
think
okay.
none of us have critical thinking? You think we're all just stupid
No, no,
people?
it was the way
None
that
of us
you said
have
like
degrees. None of us has jobs, businesses. None of us have any kind of movement. We
I was
just dumb
speaking of
people.
I was only speaking about myself personally. I
I'm
wasn't
not
saying
telling
that.
you to not have critical thinking, but I'm asking
Well,
you to open
you
your
said
eyes
after
to
a
the
while if you're
information.
asking too many if you said after a while if you're asking too many questions that you got to move.
I didn't say, I never said if you asking too many questions. See, so you
Oh,
heard
okay.
what you wanted to hear. I never said that. And that's what happens when your mind is at a place to where you don't want to be open to it. You're going to hear things that somebody never even said. I
I
never
know,
said that.
like me saying that other people on stage weren't educated. Imagine someone just hearing that in their head.
You said you asking people to stop critical thinking.
Me, I said if you're asking if a group or an individual
Well,
is
I
asking
didn't. I
you,
didn't think you said me. I didn't hear you say me. If you're asking me to stop, you said if you're asking people to stop critical thinking. I was like, so you think that we don't have critical thinking? That's what I said.
oh,
You
okay,
think
well then
that
yeah,
you
well
think the people that's
we were
in our
talking over each
movement
other,
we
so
don't
you might not have
critical
heard me
think?
say me. So I
Oh,
apologize for
I
that.
didn't hear you say me. But no, I'm not asking you to stop having critical thinking. But I'm asking
Oh,
you
okay,
to open yourself up to what we're trying to say. And a lot of times people don't do that. And at that point, I'm not about to argue with you. I'm going to keep it moving to somebody who does open their mind up to what we're trying to say and actually make 2 + 2 = 4, instead of fight against it.
got you. So I guess my personal idea is that I don't know. I say that there's truth in the Bible. I don't know if the Bible, if me saying the Bible is true is how other people mean it. So I wouldn't say that. And that I have a personal relationship with God and or the Bible. So I think that if I can go into a group and have them not have a problem with any of that, then I can start to move on. It's the people who seem to want to be the intermediary that sparks a little thing to me. So that's how it kind of sounded. I guess that's not really how you meant it, but that's how it
Yeah.
kind of sounded.
Well, I mean, the Bible would be the intermediary. I mean, you can't say you have a personal relationship with God and you don't keep the Sabbath day. That wouldn't make any sense. Like if God tells you to keep the Sabbath day and you say, well, I don't want to keep the Sabbath day. I have a personal relationship with God. That doesn't make any sense. How can your personal relationship be disobedience to God's word?
Well, how would I know what the Sabbath day is?
You can read about it in the Bible.
No, I mean, how do I know if September if Sep was it
Yeah,
if
seven.
DC if Diciembre means 10, right? No, Diciembre if dies or dis, you know how
Mhm.
it's switched.
Well,
So if they can switch,
It's not switched in the Bible though. See, that's the best thing about the Bible. It's not switched in the Bible. You go with the feast days, how we did with our feast days. 10 means 10. December is 10, it's not 12. That's why Passover comes at a different time. The Israelite New Year is different than um, American New Year. The reason why it's different because we do it based off the scriptures. Like September is
but I'm
7,
saying in like
you
2,000
know,
years, how do you know you're not off by one day?
because it's done by seasons. The scriptures tell you how to make sure it happens. It breaks it down to where um, winter festivals are always in the winter. It happens that it's done that way in the scriptures. If you follow the scriptures, then you'll never be celebrating a winter festival in the summer.
But I'm not
You'll
talking about
never
getting a season wrong. You're talking about getting a 24-hour period wrong.
right. Well, you wouldn't get a 24-hour period wrong.
Okay, so how does the
But
Bible?
because the sun goes up and the sun goes down, how do you get that wrong?
I'm saying that the count that if people have been counting, and then I can look at the
See,
calendar and I
but
can see that there's all these people who have
see,
changed what.
this all I'm saying is that you're basing this from a mindset of it can't be right. But when you take dealing with like the seasons, right? So say you got a seasonal holiday, and then also it goes into a weekly holiday. You got Pentecost, right? Pentecost is a seasonal holiday, but it coincides with the Sabbath because you have to have 7 Sabbaths in a day to get to Pentecost. Well, it works perfectly. The 7 day Sabbath had to be right to line up with the season with the moon. So all of these things have to line up correctly for them to work. And if it didn't, then it wouldn't work, and it would be like this don't make any sense. But since it does, the way it's done in the Bible, it works. It proves that it has to be right. And the thing is that no Christian ever had a problem with. One thing I do realize is that no Christians never had a problem with the Sabbath day until they were told that the Sabbath day is wrong. That the Sabbath day is Saturday, right? So think about this for a second. Black Christians been keeping the Sabbath day for a long time as Sunday, and they were okay with that until someone said, "Hey, the Sabbath day is Saturday." It's not. It was like, "Oh no, that don't make any sense." Then you read the scripture when it says that Christ rose, but they all believe that Christ rose on Sunday. Well, the scripture says that he rose after the Sabbath to the first when it began to dawn to the first day of the week. So the first day of the week would have to be Sunday, based off what every Christian believes the day Christ rose on. So now I would look at them and say, if Christ rose on the first day of the week, which everybody accepts as being Sunday, then Sunday can't be the Sabbath day. And then they'll look at you and then they'll just go, you're following a fake religion. You hate white people. You oppress your women. Instead of critically think and say, either I'm wrong about Easter or I'm wrong about the Sabbath day, but somewhere I'm wrong. That would be critical thinking. Critical thinking would say that. Critical thinking would make Christians say that Friday to Sunday morning is not 3 days and 3 nights. That would be critical thinking. If you ever celebrated Good Friday and Easter, you have no critical thinking.
But when did they start doing leap years?
Say it again. They got leap years in the Bible. That's the thing. You got to read the Bible. What's that period called? Dang,
Every
enter.
2 years. The
Yeah,
dar is correct. Every
it's
two
that's
years.
biblical.
It's a longer year. Even on the calendar, you have a longer. You have like this year is a longer year. Some years have like 13 moons rather than 12, depending on the year. Every 2 or 3 years, it's a leap. But the
Yeah,
book on the white man says every four, but it's every 2 or 3.
yeah. We the white man too much credit.
Sorry.
We, I just like I said. I think if when we look at stuff from a position, this can't be right, and let me find the holes instead of let's find out what is right. And then now let's make sense about all these things that we found that's right. I think we put us in a better position. But when we fight from the position is that this can't be right, I know it's wrong, and let me think that's wrong with it. Let me Google Bible contradictions without reading the Bible. I think we make a big mistake because my cousin I remember he got a side thing from Muhammad Ali, and it showed Bible contradictions, and you start reading it from a position of as an Israelite, somebody that studies the Bible daily. Not just, oh, I go to church, I love Jesus, I got a personal relationship, and I know nothing about the Bible, which is insane, right? But from an Israelite perspective, you look at these things and say, well, no, that's not what that means. It's talking about this. Like, no, that's not right. That's this. That can't be a contradiction because it says this here. It says this there. There's no contradictions here. So now you're looking at we're taking arguments from people that don't even study the book. It's crazy. Even with you, I don't know you, brother. But I assume that you were raised probably like most of us, even if it's not, even if you wasn't raised in a Christian church, you was raised with a Christian mindset of what Christians believe. Like I see in your thing, it say God loves everybody. What it says right here, God loves. I can't see what it says. I'm driving. What's your profile say? God loves us all.
Oh, us all, yeah.
Right. But if you read in the Bible, you would know that's not true. That God doesn't love us all. Um, if you look at the scriptures. But most Christians, even that believe wholeheartedly that the Bible is the word of God, they believe that God loves everybody. But the Bible that they believe in goes against that. So it's just, I used to be an atheist because Christianity didn't make any sense to me. It was stupid. Not until I actually read the Bible and actually was being taught by people that didn't have a European mindset with who the people of the Bible were. And then now things start to make sense. Like, well, this makes sense. Doesn't make sense for Africans in Africa to worship a white person. Like, it doesn't make sense. None of that stuff makes any sense, but Christians will tell you God loves everybody. The Bible will tell you that he don't. So now who ought to believe? Who's in the cult? At this point, who is in a cult? People say Israelites are a cult. You mean the Catholic Church ain't a cult?
Well, it would make more sense that they're all a cult. Like if if the white guy and the black guy that don't like each other are both calling each other racist because they don't like each other because they're both black and white, then they're both racist.
Yeah. But if we both hold a book to be true, and I follow the book, you say I'm in a cult because I follow the book, and I say you're in a cult because you don't follow the book, then which one would be in the cult? Like if you're holding a book that says 1+1 is 2, but you say it's 3, and you say I'm in the cult because I say it's 2, then that don't somebody's wrong.
Well, no, you're just different ranks, and you're just different ranks of cult member. One of you is a fundamental cult, and one of you is kind of like a loose fly by, everyday
Yeah, but
Saturday.
you know what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
do.
I'm sure you get the spirit of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Christians say that Israelites are a cult because they follow the Bible. It's kind of insane Don't you think?
I don't know. I don't.
You
It's the same thing.
you
It's the
do
same thing
what
with
the
the
book
I'd have to
says.
hear their argument. It's almost like,
It's simple as the Sabbath day. Like you follow the Sabbath day. Hey, the Bible say you can't eat pork. Yeah, you're in a cult. Well, but the Bible say you can't eat pork. That's what the Bible says. The Bible says you're
right.
not supposed to. Men not supposed to shave their head bald. Look at y'all.
Okay.
Y'all make y'all women dress like this. So the Bible says women supposed to dress modest. You're in a cult.
Right. But where's the term "don't drink the Kool-Aid" come from?
Don't do what?
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
It comes from Jim Jones,
Right.
I would think. Right? Well, he told people to all come together and move to Guyana, and he is the spiritual leader. I mean, what did he teach those people?
Well, he was. You would accept that he was exalting himself above the other members and putting himself in a not a Christ-like
Well,
position.
what was he teaching them? Like that would be
I
my question, you know.
I don't know. My only
So
question.
it's
Yeah.
difficult to talk about Jim Jones, because I don't even know what he was teaching these people. You know, it
Well,
couldn't have been the Bible. He couldn't have been teaching them the Bible.
he might have been using the Bible. I was
Well,
just trying to
I mean, like,
to
I can
allude to.
hold the Quran in my hand and say we have to go rape kids. That doesn't mean the Quran says it's okay to rape kids.
Hey, Judge,
Yes, sir.
I got the definition of a cult here. It says a cult is a social group defined by unusual, extreme, or unorthodox beliefs and practices. That's what a cult is. So, like you said, the Bible has a dress code. We follow the dress code, and they say we're in a cult, but they read the Bible. That's stupid.
It's insane.
The
It's,
Bible says honor the Sabbath and keep it holy. So we go to fellowship on the Sabbath day, which is Saturday. The world decides we want to go Sunday. So the Christians that's not following the Bible say, you're in a cult because you wanted to honor the Sabbath the way the Bible says. The Bible says not to eat pork. So we don't eat pork. So the Christian church says, you're in a cult. You're trying to control people and tell them what to eat. That's stupid. And that's the problem right there. The stupidity of people who believe things about the Bible that it's not in there. And then the people who are following the Bible, they say you're in a cult. That's the problem, just as you identified.
The
yeah,
thing is,
100%.
but the thing is that the word cult goes even deeper. First of all, it's the word that begins other words like culture or to cultivate. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to understand that the English language on a whole, right, is the European's language. And so he divides the dictionaries that defines the codes and the words and dictions and so forth and so on. So a lot of us still have that European mindset
Shoot.
because we speak
Okay,
English.
shoot. Let's go by what you're saying. Show us another place other than the European mindset where they're throwing the word cult around. Where us take out what you said and show
Right.
us in Africa, in the Caribbean, in North South. Are they using the word cult in those places in the definition that you described to cultivate?
Yeah.
Where? Where? What ethnic group?
All over the planet.
Where? You just said all over. Okay, tell us where. We want specifics. We want
You want
proof.
Pacifics?
Yes.
In Switzerland, if
In
you look at it, excuse me,
Switzerland, they
I'm
use
not finished. I'm
in
not finished.
Switzerland,
I'm not
in
finished.
Switzerland, they
I'm
use the
not
word
finished.
cult.
I'm not finished.
They
In
use the word
Switzerland,
cult to say we're cultivating.
when they speak the English language, they use the word cult. In Sweden,
You're
in
not listening.
Germany, hold up, in Germany, when they use the English language, they use the word cult.
No,
Period.
you can't answer my
In
question.
in
You know
Ghana,
what I mean.
in
In
Ghana, no,
America, when
no,
they
you
say
don't know
cult,
what I mean.
when they in America,
You
when
don't
they
know
say
what
you're
I
in a
mean.
cult, they say that you're following something just like the definition is. It's
So
unusual, it's
okay,
strange,
so let me
it's
ask you.
made up.
So
Hey,
They don't say that in
let
no
me
other country.
let me ask you. The
hey, and
word
the etymology of
the
the
word
word
cult.
cultivate is not cult. Cult is not the root of
I know
cultivate.
that's not that. See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all didn't see what I was saying. I'm
So
saying
why did you bring
let me
those two words
explain it.
together?
Okay, well, let me answer that question. The reason why I brought those two words is to show how the word cult, those four letters, makes up other words like culture, inculcated, cultivated. All those are part, right, or in
They're
part of
not part of
making.
that word.
They are. It is part of
He's
No,
that
they're
saying
word.
no,
not.
no.
They're
He's
Oh
not.
my
saying
God.
that's
Yeah,
These come
they
from
are.
Latin words. These
he's
come from
saying that
Latin
cult
words.
is a root word
It's
being
not a root
another
word.
people.
It
It's
is a
not a
root
root.
That
It's
word.
not a root word to that word. You can look up
Okay,
the etymology of the word. It's not
I
root. It is not. It
in
had cult
so
and cultivate.
let me
They
ask
hold
you,
up. Wait.
Judge.
No. Stop. We're gonna use words. Words have meaning. They have etymology. Cult and cultivate. They do not relate at all.
What is the
They
root
come from
word?
they
What
come from
is
Latin words. They come
what
from Latin
is
words. That's the
the
thing.
root word
They come
of
from Latin. I can show
what
you
is
right
the
now. Hold up,
root?
I
Hold
got
on,
you.
wait a minute. What is the root
Got you.
word? Oh no, wait a minute. Be quiet, man. What is the root word
Wait,
of?
real
Wait a minute.
quick. Shoot, shoot,
No,
shoot,
bro.
shoot.
You're trying to
Hold
overtalk
up.
me, man.
No,
Because
no,
you
no,
know
no,
I'm
no.
making a valid point.
Just real quick, real quick.
What is the root word of?
I don't want to have to, I don't want to have to kick you. Gonna come in here and tell the moderators to be quiet. You're gonna have some respect. You're not
Well,
gonna do
how come
that
you disrespect me by talking
because
over me?
it wasn't your turn to even talk.
I
First of all, it wasn't even your turn to talk. Me and the brother God was talking, and then you jumped in, and I allowed you to
had
jump
jumped
in.
in. A
I
had
allowed
jumped
you to
in.
jump in. He's a
A had
moderator.
jumped in.
He's a moderator. This is his room. That's like you telling the judge he can't talk. It's his room. So you're not gonna tell us to be quiet. It don't
You're
work that
talking
way.
over me, and
You,
I'm asking you
brother,
a question.
brother,
Can
you
I
got one
ask
more
you a question?
chance. You got one more
Come on, I
chance
don't
to
care
talk
about the
and
one more
just
chance. If you want to kick me out, kick me out.
I am. I'm about to do it right now.
Okay?
There you go. And I'm gonna block you so you can't come back. That's another thing about black people. We don't respect one another and we don't respect things that black people built. You know, that's why we always say, oh, you still doing that little YouTube thing? Oh, you still doing your little such and such? You still got your little this, your little that, your little this. We don't respect one another. You know, we don't respect anything. We'll come into a room with almost 100,000 subs. This by far is the biggest Bible-based room on the app. And it was made completely by black people. And we don't respect it. We just come in and be like, F what y'all got going on. I know you was talking to the other brother, but I'm just gonna jump in and start yelling and screaming and then say stuff that's not true. That cult is the root of cultivate, which is 100% not true. And then get mad when you get called out on it and try to tell somebody to shut up. That ain't gonna work here. You go do that. Go do that in a nigger room. This may be a black room, but this ain't a nigger room. It's not the same word. It's two different words with two different meanings. Cult comes from the Latin cultus, right? Cultivate comes from the Latin cultivare. It's not the same word. They don't have the same etymology at all. Just because they sound the same or may use the same words don't mean it comes from the same root. It's not the same. We have to stop it. It just sound good, you know. We can't do that with everything. It's not the same. I mean, my mic.
Yeah, Corey.
Corey, what's your story?
Yes, what's good, Ken, folks?
What's going on, Corey? You part of the FBA movement?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
And
could you explain it to us what it is? Because we keep
I'm,
hearing
I'm
different
I'm gonna give it.
perspectives.
I'm gonna give some concise examples. Byron Donaldson. He's currently running for governor of the state of Florida. He's from his family's from Jamaica, and he says such things as he don't agree with reparations because he doesn't qualify for it. That's one example. Kamala Harris,
No, no, no,
another
sir.
example.
We want to know what the FBA is.
I am. I'm giving it. I'm
Can,
giving.
can you go? Can you do that first? Because I understand that there are black people that you would consider FBA that feel the exact same way. So we can't use these anecdotal
That's right.
examples. Yeah, there are black people. I know black people I grew up with that don't think black people should
I
get
understand that.
nothing. Right. So if we use an example of one person that don't like black people or that love white people more than like black people, that doesn't help. What
That,
we
but
want to
that,
know
that,
what the FBA is.
but you cannot. It's a political thing that is spawned from. You cannot
So
get
it's
to the
political.
understand. Hold on, sir. You cannot get to it without understanding. Number one,
No,
you know.
I understand that there are black
Okay.
people that hate black people. I get that. There are FBA black people, from what I understand the definition to be, that hate black
No.
people. And there are non FBA black people that
Well,
hate black people. So I
but listen.
understand that. But can
I
you
get
give
it
us
that.
a definition
But
of what
I
FBA
am giving.
is?
I am
You're
giving. I
not.
promise you.
You're
I am.
what you're doing is you want to make me like
I.
FBA by telling me about
Oh
people
no no
that are
no no
against black people's interests. That's what you're
no.
doing.
Okay then. So then, if you know that, then right when you
I
can
want to
have
know. I want to know
when
what
you can
Clarence,
have a
Clarence
Barack
Thomas.
Obama or Kamala Harris or any, they are not us. They don't have no affinity to us,
This is
and
Kamala Harris is our people.
they are intentionally gathered up, but whether it's by mainly the Democrats,
Yeah,
and so
but
thus,
that doesn't
sir,
explain to
sir,
me what
sir, sir,
FBA. That's
sir,
why we
sir, come
can't
on
get
now.
nowhere with FBI. I
At
just
this
want to know
point, you
what the
micromanaging people's thoughts
I just want to know
because
what the definition of
okay,
FBA
it,
is.
it,
That's what we're
it,
asking. We're not. I'm not
okay. Put it
asking
like okay.
you. I'm not
What is an
asking
African
you.
American then?
I'm not
We reject
asking
the
you.
term Africa, but I'm explaining it because
I'm
I can't deal
asking
with how
you.
you
You,
comprehend it.
sir. You're FBA. We want to know what the definition of FBA is. That's what we want to know.
So you already know it's an acronym. You know it stands for Foundational Black Americans.
Yes, we want to know
If
what
you
it
need it, if you
means.
need it more directly, we are direct bloodline of chattel slavery here. If your ass came from the Caribbean, yes, you a child of slaves, but you a child of slaves from the Caribbean or from the continent at best. Does that mean that you have the moral fortitude to stand up against injustice or quote unquote white supremacy? This is what meaning that all skin folks is not kinfolk. It is nothing complicated, and it cannot be denied that a Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, or any of
You're
these
being
black
emotional right
politicians,
now. You're
I'm
being
not
Yes,
being
emotional.
yes,
emotional.
you're
And
ranting. You sound
I'm not.
just like Tarish Nasheed's rant. We
But
asked you,
okay,
Corey, we asked you a simple question. Now you're going to political figures and you're using that as your foundation to form FBA. Don't
go get a
use the
book called
political,
Powernomics.
sir,
We like to
sir,
read in here.
sir. There's no black person in office anytime in America that could deal with the needs of black America without white hands over them supervising them. You can't blame Barack Obama for his policies because he got handlers. You can't blame no black politician anywhere for not being able to rise up and fix the black community because they got white handlers. They were put in position by their white handlers. Don't
And
bring your
this,
politics into this.
and
Explain
this is
to
why
us.
y'all don't get
Explain.
to
You,
micromanage the
you see, you
definition
see,
of it.
you see. This is why when you question them, their whole shit fall apart.
Wait a
Tell
minute.
us, without bringing politics into it, that's controlled by white
You try.
people. What is your problem? What is
Listen to
your
what you are
problem with
asking.
people?
You
Is
telling
this
me
what
what
it,
I
this is what
can
they're
and
gonna do?
cannot
This is what
comprehend.
they've been doing all night. This is what they've been doing
Oh my,
all night.
bro,
You
come on now.
ask them about the FBA. They pick some politician that white people put in control for their agenda, and that's how the movement starts. That's fucking stupid. That's
Well,
dumb. So you're
now
using that. You're using the white
I had
puppet
homonyms
government to
now.
control these black leaders to attack a whole continent of people, a whole island of people, a whole
Sir,
people that's going through the same things as
you
you
being
because the government is
insensitive.
controlling them. You
Listen,
said the same shit the other nigga said. Barack Obama, he been gone for 10 years. Y'all
why you
bringing up
upset,
this
brother?
bullshit based
Brother,
on
why
Barack
you
Obama.
upset? Have
Barack
I
Obama
offended?
couldn't do nothing for no African people.
But
He's from Kenya.
again,
He couldn't do shit for
sir,
the Africans here.
sir,
So stop trying to use
sir,
the
sir,
government controls these black
sir.
politicians.
At this
What
point,
is
you're making that straw man argument
no,
because
no,
the,
you making a
no,
straw man
you make that,
argument. Y'all
you
don't
make that,
have you're manufacturing an enemy based
sir,
on white
sir.
politician government that
You
control
ask,
black people.
you
That's
ask this
fucking
question.
stupid.
You
That's
ask
the
this question.
dumbest shit I ever heard.
You ask the question,
You're
but you asked the
manufacturing an
question that
enemy
you didn't know
that
the answer
instead
to.
of attacking the
And
government, instead of
no,
attacking white people, you're attacking the black
you,
people that the white people are using. That's some
but it,
stupid, that's some house nigga shit. That's the same thing they did on the plantation. They put black overseers in
you know
place
he's not
to whip
LBA,
the
right?
slaves. So
I
now
know
you're
who I'm
fucking
supposed to
mad.
avoid.
You're not mad.
Where,
You're not mad at the white people that set up the unfair politics.
you
You're mad
attacking,
at the people that the white people, black
you
people
attacking me,
that the white people put in place. That shit is stupid. Y'all don't make no sense.
but you don't make no sense. You attacking me. You accuse me of being emotional, and you are the one
Because you
that
got the
again.
same stupid
Oh
talking points
my
as
God,
everybody that
bro,
came in the room.
bro. So in other words,
Kamala Harris is not in
in
office.
other words,
She was
you don't
handpicked.
want,
She
you
was
don't want the
selected
answer.
by a white. She was selected by white people that you can't fucking see,
Oh
and y'all
my
too
God.
stupid to see that.
How are
Barack
you
Obama was
arguing?
selected.
Number one,
Okay,
brother.
he
This.
didn't work his way into
Can
politics
we use
because he was
relations to
fighting for the
chapter?
people. Y'all
Before we
never
go
knew
any
nothing
further,
about no Barack
can we
Obama until he became a candidate
right,
by white people.
biblical smoke? Can we use Galatians and because all these ad hominems and all that, brother, that's not godly, that's not righteous, and it damn sure enough don't change our position.
Hey, audience. This is what we've been dealing with all day since we've been doing this since 9 o'clock yesterday. When you ask them about the foundation of FBA, they immediately go to black people who white people set up for their agenda, and that's the foundation of their movement. Barack Obama's been out of office how many years? How many white presidents been there? But well, Barack Obama this, Kamala Harris this. She was never ever in no presidential position where she could do anything without white people, even when she was with her constituents. Don't let them use this stupid shit to you. We ask them the same question I've been asking all night. Show me where African people, Caribbean people, Haitian people, blacks from South America, Central America came to America now where they live, and them as a whole is disrupting their way of life. Don't fucking tell me about no politics. You niggas are stupid. White people put these black people as the puppets for the government to forward their agenda. They're not the problem, you idiots. If that's your argument, that shows how fucking stupid y'all are. Show us where Caribbean people came to the Americas and they're now making it difficult for black foundational black Americans to live. Show us where a Haitian community came to America and they're making it difficult for foundational black Americans to live. Show us where black people came from North, South, and Central America and they're now making it difficult for black people to live. Don't fucking tell me about no politicians. You think we stupid? You ain't talking to a bunch of dumb niggas here. That's Tyreek Nasheed bullshit. Y'all watching a man on social media that don't make no fucking sense, and y'all doing his talking points. It's not gonna fly in this room. Y'all have a reason to hate black people who are going through the same thing as you. Show us what these black people are doing to you. All of a sudden, or every last one of these niggas, they're tethers. They're tethers. What's a tether? A tether is someone who aligned themselves with the white oppression and now they're attacking us. You fucking idiots. Those white people set these tethers up. Jason Whitlock, he's the same thing. He's foundational black American. He don't give a shit
Tatum,
about black politics.
Brandon Tatum, Jeffrey
Brandon
Peterson.
Tatum, same thing. Candace Owens, same thing. Clarence Thomas, sitting on the highest board of Supreme Court Justice. He's a fucking foundational black American. You're not attacking him, you stupid niggas. These are the cause of your problems. Don't tell us about sellouts, and that's how you're now a birth of foundational black Americans. You're mad at the political system that white people created, so you're attacking other black people. Y'all are a bunch of stupid and dumb niggas. Y'all don't make no sense.
I say it again, man. This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any type of sense. None. Kamala Harris was not even our people. Kamala Harris is an Indian woman. That woman is an Indian woman, and her family goes right back to Jewish. Now, Candace Owens, being a great journalist, despite her coonery, she even went and did research on Kamala Harris and found out that that chick was nowhere near black at all, and that they changed her ethnicity during her political campaign because she was Indian the whole time. Even Trump made fun of her, said she's Indian.
Right. Even
No
Trump
one knew she
said,
was
I
Indian.
thought she was Indian. Trump said the
Yeah,
shit also.
yep, he exposed it. So it was known that she was an Indian woman, and they even scrubbed it offline. Like it was on. You can go online and find it. They scrubbed it and put African American instead or Caribbean instead because she was trying to run for candidacy, and she also went through all these HBCU college HBCUs talking about abortion this, abortion that. But she would go to the white universities and abortion didn't leave her mouth. Not one time. And then when she didn't make it, and then when she lost the campaign, she was supposed to go to a school. She didn't go there because she lost. She was mad. She didn't even go to the school. And black people was crying and mad and hurt because she didn't show up to the school because she didn't win. So because she didn't win, she said, "F you niggas." She went about her business. So Kamala Harris is a terrible, terrible example
And E,
for
we don't
utilizing
even
black
hear
people.
about her no more. How is she
No,
a
we don't.
problem? How is she a
Right.
threat? You niggas are stupid. Now let's go to what he said about the Donaldson in Florida. Okay? He's against reparations. He wouldn't have his position if he said he was for it. White politicians gave him his seat to do white talking points. The same thing they're doing with Officer Hatem Tatum. They propped him up. They put money behind him so that he could be the voice for white people. But what I want them to do, because the vitriol and the hatred they have for people in the Caribbean, people from Africa, people from Haiti, it's the same thing that white America did with Mexicans. All of a sudden, Mexicans were taking their jobs. Mexicans are doing all the crime. Mexicans are making life difficult because social media said that shit. You don't have no evidence of Mexicans impacting any race in the United States of America where they can't thrive and grow. This is made up bullshit. You stupid niggas, you manufacture the enemy based on white supremacy. You niggas are stupid.
Shalom, can I say something, sir?
Go ahead, sis.
I'm not for FBA at all. I'm an Israelite, and I will be till I die. But I do have a clear understanding of how the movement, what the mindset of the movement is, because I did subscribe to it at one point. In
Explain
New
it to us.
York.
What is it?
If I could speak to my experience in New York. Um, as a New Yorker, you try to go to get certain benefits. You might want to get your one shot deal or whatever the case may be, and you have to answer to people who don't come from the country,
What do you
and you're
mean?
being denied benefits. Huh?
What do you mean that you have to answer to people who don't come from the country?
So when you go into those offices, into social services, a lot of the people who are administering the benefits are non-English speaking, or
Like,
English is their
are
second
you saying
language.
Latino? Latino?
No, no, sometimes they're African,
Okay, let's
sometimes
stick
they're
with what you said.
Polish,
Let's stick with
sometimes
what you said.
they're.
Who
Mhm.
set up the policy for them to deny you?
No, no,
Was it
no.
them?
I was gonna go there. It's 100% not their policy. But when you are faced against that constantly, where you see certain groups are getting $10,000 checks and $40,000 checks to pay their rent, and you're being denied because you don't have those credentials, that passport, don't provide these agencies with any incentive to help you. You start to see the people that are getting those benefits as the enemy, right? So the concept is to use under this identity so that you can push the policies
So,
in a different
charity.
direction.
So,
I'm not
charity.
saying it's right.
Just listen to what you're saying. Okay, you said you don't follow that no more. Let's go by that's their main way of thinking. You walk into a government funded office, and because the people that are working there don't look like you or speak like you and you get denied, now you form a movement against the people that work there.
No, because you're seeing the checks are going to other people. Like, so this has
So
literally
so so
happened to
so
me.
let's stick with what you said. You're saying that the people that are denying the application are favoring their people and giving them the checks and not the black Americans that were here.
That's the case sometimes, and sometimes there's other factors, but most of the time that's the case, and you're getting denied, and then you're homeless, but Bonita down the street just got 40K for her apartment. So and that's a constant experience. It's not just one time. This is like a constant experience. And
Okay,
so people, it builds up a sort of like resentment and hatred.
I'm
And
born and
so
raised in New York. I'm
me
almost
too,
60
sir.
years old. I don't know how old you are. You sound young. I know I'm older than you.
I'm 45, sir.
Okay, so what you're saying, I never, ever heard in my life. Is there anybody else that could raise their hand and substantiate that this is happening anywhere where the entity, the government, hired people of a different ethnicity, and those people have the power to target the black Americans that are here so that it becomes evident. Now a whole movement is started because enough of it has happened so many times that now we're like, you're the problem. And I'm not getting on you, Charity, because I've been asking people to explain this to me. And everybody keeps giving, before with the politician. This guy just went to Donaldson in Florida because he's not the only black person that's against reparations. There's a lot of foundational black Americans, I could pull them up, that's against reparations. And we know it's because they're furthering the white agenda. So what
Called
I'm noticing with the
they
FBA
call it the
people,
black they call it the Black Caucus. They want the Black Caucus. There's a bunch of
yes,
black folks,
the black
all not just
caucuses,
one group, not just one group, a bunch of black people
it's a
that are in
panel
key
of them
position. They
that
said
they
no.
agree
Yes.
that if we give reparations, that's the first person I heard it from, that if we give reparations, it will be harmful to America. Okay, the black caucuses, that's what they say. They align themselves with white talking points. Okay, there's no Caribbean, no African, no Haitian, no people from the Latino community that I know of my knowledge that's in a position of power that they're working against the blacks in America, and we can evidently see it. I know that white America will put these people as their whooping stick because they've done that since slavery. The slave master will let your own people, that's why you had the house nigger to do their bidding. So again, the FBA people, most of the talking points that I'm hearing is everything Tariq Nasheed says. I didn't hear about this until that ex pimp became a social media presence and he's molding the minds of black Americans to attack other blacks that go through the same thing that the blacks in America went through. So I'm not getting on you, Charity. We've been calling the FB up here one at a time, and they all have the same talking points. This one is different. Now it's the government entities. They put people from the Caribbean, from the Latino, that don't speak the same, as not the same culture as the Black Americans, and they're using their position of power in government to harm Black people in America.
Yes, sir. And just to clarify, I'm not just speaking as if I don't have firsthand experience. I know people who are actually in the systems. They were supervisors that are Black Americans. They also are privy to the same information, and they are telling me like this person got the check but you were denied because Susie whatever said is hooking her people up.
Sis,
So, and I don't,
just
I'm
follow
not
me.
a
I've
Tariq
dated
Nasheed
women. I've
follower.
I've dated women that they milk the system, and I know what a fair hearing is. I know how they're conducted. I know how they take place. I dated women that work for the system that tell other people how to manipulate the system. This I've never heard. Never ever in my entire life, in my 50 plus years of being here, that there's an entity of people who are non FBA, that they're in these governmental offices with an agenda to harm foundational black Americans. It just sounds like some conspiracy theorists. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying this is crazy. It gets crazier as the morning now. It's just getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah, it's really just an emotional. That's my point. Is not to defend it. It's really to establish understanding. Because I see people in the chat saying I'm for the FBA. I'm not. I really just like for people
Don't attack her.
to
She
understand
already said she's not for it. She left it. She announced what she stands for. She believes in the Bible. Correct?
100% sure, sir. It's just
Okay.
how things get transferred. Like my mom is the one who put me on to that mindset because our family has been here for. I have documentation of my family's origins in the country, and even after receiving reparations, my family still went to shit. We actually got reparations. 40 acres and a mule times 23 in the United States of America. After Special Order 15 was issued, we got reparations. It did nothing for my family.
Well,
So like,
look. Just so
I
you
know
understand, I'm all for the reparations. I just don't think y'all ever gonna get it. White America's not gonna give y'all nothing. I'm all for it. What my problem with the FBA is the vitriol, the anger, the hatred they have for people from Africa. Like Tasha K was saying, they call him my husband an African booty scratcher. And I don't understand where this anger for people from Africa come from. Then when they come in the room and we ask them why, they get mad at Black American culture. That's the argument. So I said, you're mad because of remarks, or are you mad because they are affecting your life, the way that you live? Are they making it difficult? Do they have a position in government, in politics, in the economics? And y'all can't show me that nowhere that people from Africa are disrupting the finances of the foundational Black Americans. You could say that they make comments. That's everywhere. That's every single race. You got Russians who speak against Germans. You got Italians who speak against people from England. You got people in England who speak against whites in Britain. You got Japanese who speak against Chinese. You got South Koreans who speak against North Koreans. But when it comes to the black people, now they're so emotional, they're ready to beat up other black people. This is the most stupidest shit I ever heard. In India, there's a class system. You got the Dalits, they speak against the Siddhis. This is everywhere. But there's no Tariq Nasheeds in Korea, in Italy. The Irish are speaking about the Italians. The Italians are speaking about the Russians. The Russians are speaking against the Albanians. This has been since the history of time. It's just different cultures clashing. But now y'all got a nigga on social media named Tariq Nasheed talking about, well, the Jamaicans think they're better because they say this about us. The people from Africa think they're better because they say this about us. And niggas go, yeah. Let's hate them. That's the stupidest shit I ever heard. That's the dumbest shit you pick any race of people, Chinese, Japanese, Irish, Italian, Russian, you can find it anywhere. Where one culture speaking against another culture, but they're not attacking the other people of white ethnicity and making a whole movement against them. Only ignorant niggas is doing that shit, and it's coming from a place of emotion, of Tyreek Nasheed running game on y'all. I mute my mic.
yeah, it's Esau's tactics for real. It definitely is, and what I'm describing, like experience that I was just sharing, is the fuel for it. Like if you see that happening, then it's gonna build up to a point where you're gonna allow, like it's just emotional ignorance. But I just wanted to share, like that component of
Thank
it.
you for that. I'm thanking you because I didn't know it. So if it comes up, I'll be able to. I'm like a sponge. I want to soak up everything. Okay? I'm not, if the FBA's argument is, just let me make it clear, there's a political system of African people making it hard for, I'm on their side, I'm on FBA side. If you could show me a political movement of Africans moving against the foundational blacks in America, I'm on FBA side. If you could show me a Caribbean uh, entity against the foundational blacks in America, I'm on FBA side. If you could show me a Haitian community impacting the life, making it difficult for the foundational black Americans, I'm on FBA side. If you could show me Latinos, making it difficult for the blacks in America. I'm on the blacks in America side. But until then, no one has shown me something tangible. They're just using Kamala Harris, Barack Obama. Uh, now it's Donaldson in Florida. I don't know who the fuck he is. And I know if he has the position, it's because white America put him there. So these niggas are making up imaginary enemies based on their emotion. That's my problem I have. Don't tell me when I was in high school, a Jamaican said something to me. An African said something to me. They said I'm lazy, I'm this. I don't give a shit. It's never affected me. What anybody says, I've got more of the stuff foundational black Americans are complaining about. I got it from white people all my life. And I never saw everybody come together saying, yo, let's bang on the whites. This shit is crazy. There's a historical history of America, of atrocities, of redlining, of sharecropping, of every single thing white people did. But now fucking black people that are here, they're the problem, and it's not the whites that created the problem. Somebody make it make sense. Somebody make it make sense. Thank you, Charity. Dr. O, I believe you're next.
Hey, I've never heard you piped up like this. I love it.
I'm sorry, it just don't make sense to me,
No,
Doc.
I see. I
It's
listen.
just,
It's
it
not
just,
making any
if it
sense.
makes sense, I
So
want
I
to
do
rejoin
have
them. I
like
want to get on their side, but it's just
well,
emotional.
I don't think
Just
there's a side to get on. So when I look at Jesse Jackson for political reasons, here comes the term African American. When I look at Tariq Nasheed, here comes the reasons for social clout by stating FBA, creating another layer of unnecessary separation, separatism, forcing an enemy that's not really there, right? There are plenty of cases. So I'm a court appointed mediator for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. So I'm in the prisons all the time. So there's plenty of cases where Nigerians have been contracted to be prison guards. They are extremely rough, case by case on African Americans, okay? There's plenty of cases to where there's reports and there's data and there's information and things of that nature, right? So those are cases where someone has decided to basically abuse a position, right? So if that is a reason, then of course what you're asking for is data, right? And so I have plenty of data on that. And that doesn't mean all, right? Me being Igbo, I already understand from both sides like how that would work as far as somebody saying something versus proving policy or data points that state here's evidence that this organization outside of white supremacy or outside of white culture is doing this against black people. No, there's no data points that I've seen that can reference these people, these Caribbean, these immigrants, these so and so's, they're the ones who are our problem without directing that energy back towards the real force of energies, which is European nations that have taken over different continents of hell and brimstone, right? On different continents that have caused so many issues amid the people. So you're right to back that point up. And like I said, I've never seen you piped up. So I've been over here researching, like, let me get this brother some data. I haven't seen any yet, and I'm still looking. I haven't seen any. I do have cases and different situational things that happen, but that could happen with any type of culture. That happens amongst Black people. I can go to a place and want something. I'm dealing with city council right now. My brother just got a certain amount of money. I will not disclose, but a very large amount of money. Sorry, my brother just got a very large amount of money, but it was only when a white woman came on city council to issue that money to him. And we had that discussion for 2 hours this morning. But the whole time for 10 years, the black people wouldn't give it to him. So we could say that only about our own people, if that's the case, is what I'm saying. But to your passion, to your point, no, I haven't seen it. And I'm almost half 100 myself. I'm 48 years old, and I have not seen, heard, or anything to where immigrants are coming in here hurting, AKA Black people that originated here in America. So, yeah,
that's what I'm looking for.
yeah,
For me, I will get on the FBA side if a specific ethnic group is making it difficult for them here.
no,
But it's like they're
no.
manufacturing
It's
a enemy.
manufactured to point energy back to Tariq Nasheed so he can be seen as a leader. It's like the little dude on the movie The Incredibles that creates the problem to solve the problem.
And Dr. O, he's such a genius. He says, I'm not, this is not me. I'm not the leader. And you can't put this on me. When people bang
While
on him,
leading.
because I watched all his videos,
You know better, King, so
yeah,
I got you.
he would adamantly deny, it's not me. I'm not the leader of this. Whenever you box him in,
Right. But
uh,
yes, he's the dude. He's the dude. It's him. And that's okay. It's a Jesse Jackson situation. But to your point, there's no data that can back that up. And until there is, we don't have that's not our issue. Our issue will always and forever be European nations that decide to have an Oedipus complex or whatever complexes that they have, putting that on black people and then creating energies and synergies to where black people fight against each other versus the true enemy. It's the same thing over and over. It's textbook.
now I'm going to throw something else in the game. You're a very attractive woman by your picture. Have you not met other women that were less attractive that
Mhm.
now, based on your 48 years on earth,
Mhm.
these women who they don't like you just because of based on how you look? Have you not
Baby,
experienced that?
baby.
Okay? Because I hear
Me,
that
wait, wait,
from
wait,
women.
wait, wait, wait. King, your brothers attacked me for looking like I look. Okay? So
I'm,
yeah, it ain't just women, but yes.
right. I'm saying that because someone said to me, I don't want to say the name because the person's probably here, very upset that they went into a business and they were being mistreated. And she was like, they do this to me all the time, literally breaking down in tears. I got to dress down or change my appearance so that women won't mistreat me.
Yes, all the time. I have to. Whoever she is, she can DM me. Same, same, same. I've had
Yes.
to literally wear suits just for women to not look at features. I'm already 6'4". I'm tall. I'm blah blah blah. Yes, I've done the same thing. I've been down to hug people. All the things I've lowered myself so many times, and then one day God was like, "Stop." So yes, I get
Okay,
it.
so I'm just trying to explain to the people that this is the nature of people, and white America feeds on that since slavery. They put the light
Ooh,
against the dark, the old against the young, the
ooh.
strong against the weak. This is where it all comes to.
Ooh. Well, now I know why. Like, I've never heard you like. I mean, I heard you passionate and definitely getting on people's bottoms, but today, honey, I get it now because I'm like, you're absolutely correct. Stop making illusionary data for no reason just to advert the people when we have a real enemy. And if we're gonna fight that real enemy, we will not be able to do it like this. So I get it.
Right, I will never. It's like what we're seeing in South Africa. It brings tears to my eyes. They're beating up Nigerians and you're
Yeah.
leaving. I'm not telling nobody to go and attack no white people now. Don't take my words and attack me. But the white South Africans are the ones that's living lovely. You're attacking
Mhm.
the Nigerians that came there, the people that came from Kenya, the people that came from Ghana. You're literally moving from store to store, dragging them, beating them, killing them, kicking women. I watched them kick a black pregnant woman out of the hospital and said, if you're not from here, you cannot get care here. They didn't care that she had a baby in her belly. And this is where my passion is coming from. This is getting crazy and it needs
Yeah.
to be addressed.
Hey,
I mute my mic.
and
Oh yeah. I'm a mute
the
as well.
lead,
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
the leader of that movement is a weird black dude. It's a you know what I'm saying? It's like this weird dude that dresses up like a tribal leader and he's running around. It just feel too orchestrated by the white man. You got Tariq Nasheed, now you got this other guy that just show up and he looked like he like being mad, but then at the same time he looked like he's smiling. It's like, who is this guy? The what was that other movement we had? The not effing around correlation, whatever. That guy. It was like this leader, this guy that white people put this guy in power and charge, and then next you see him at Donald Trump rallies and things like that. It's like who are these people? Uh, and when you want to talk about somebody who's anti-black in government, Clarence Thomas, by every bit of the word, would be considered FBA. Every bit of the word. He descends from slaves that was brought to America. That's it. He's FBA. And if you want to tell me that he doesn't dislike black people, You know, we're kind of crazy here. So definitely FBA, 100% FBA. Clarence Thomas. So 100% Clarence Thomas FBA. So we can't go and be like, "Well, this person's FBA. These Caribbeans are doing this, or these people are doing this." What about Clarence Thomas? It's weird. I don't know if anybody hears me or not.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yes, we hear you. Need to breathe with the the whole matter is it's literal insanity. This is crazy.
And the crazy part is they not getting the reparations. That's the crazy part. They doing all of this and still not gonna get. I mean, like, what's the real, agenda? It's to divide.
White America has think tanks where they will sit down and create, they will make us fight each other. And we've seen it historically. It's like we can read now. We know things. A lot of information was held from us. It's like before I came into the Bible, and I remember I was listening to a guy named Alex Jones, and he was into conspiracy theories, and he was saying get this book and get that book, and he was saying there's no Democrat, there's no Republic, they work together, they create opposition, they move the people emotionally. And then he started targeting the small hats, and he said that the Zionists, he said not the Jewish people, the Zionist parties, they've done this for years. They take their financial backing, they manufacture a group, and then they make them attack another group. It's the same thing. This goes far back to what's the guy that Barack Obama said he caught him and killed him?
Hussein? I mean, Bin Laden.
Bin Laden. They showed you as far back as him working with the Bush family, how all that stuff was manufactured, where America finances these terrorist organizations. The same thing they're saying with October 7th, that they're saying that the most sophisticated, highly defended place, Israel, all of a sudden, people flew over the wall, no one retaliated, the radar system wasn't working, they breached the system and killed a couple of hundred people. The Charlie Kirk, that's what he was saying before he was killed. He said, I don't believe it. He said, I believe that Netanyahu and IDMF, they it's called order out of chaos. Create chaos, then restore order. They need a reason to attack. So they will manufacture an incident so that it can garner public sympathy, so then they can unleash all out war on the people. There's numerous historical accounts, even before I came into the Bible, even in Christendom, where you had Nero set the city on fire and then blame the Christians. This has been the MO of white people as far back. And this is white people. This is not me saying I don't like white people. Okay? Cause I don't hate anyone. I don't have any anger against anyone, but it is what it is. You got white people pointing these things out, that the wars that America has been in, they created. The wars that war brings money. America manufactures enemies. Even with the Panama, there's a video called the Panama Deception when they wanted the Panama Canal. And the Panamanians didn't want to give it up, so they send soldiers on the Panamanian side to shoot at the Americans so that they could annihilate them. I have numerous resources of stuff that you guys can look at. The Twin Towers, when it went down, numerous, and I'm getting this from white people, okay? They want you to believe that 4 planes were taken from the most sophisticated radar system. They just got on there. Meanwhile, these same people who they said hijacked the plane, their family was like, no, he didn't. He's in college. He's in England. He's here. They were saying we wasn't on no plane. But they convinced America that Arab terrorists took 4 planes, crashed them into these buildings, and they used that to go and attack. So this has been this is the history of this Caucasian man. They've always created chaos and then restored order, and it works. So it's the same. This is why I'm so skeptical about where is this coming from and how is this picking up steam. I mute my mic.
One thing that I saw that makes this, which I didn't know about it till last night. I didn't even know what that was. I was in shock that we even had an extra internal movement. But one thing I noticed is that people who don't know their identity, whether it be stolen, robbed, decimated, desecrated, manufactured, miseducated, all the ways, people that do not have an identity, they are targeted the most, no different than a wolf would go after a sick gazelle, right? And so they make sure that the people do not understand. They fight about their own internal identity privately. And then when they get amid another set of people, they don't have an identity. And so with that identity crisis, zip code after zip code gets ripped apart. And so, even though other cultures have fake identities, real cultural identity, whatever identity they have, they're more secure. But somehow, some way, when it comes to Black people in America, original and or brought here, whatever the case may be, that has been the number one game. And so since I see that, and anytime you fill out an application, a lot of those demographics is not identity. Those demographics are political buckets. Right? When you have to fill out money, school, whatever, when you're filling out those applications, you're filling in political buckets. You never really get to put your true identity. And so that's why when people are reading the Bible or coming here to get educated or, going to a temple or wherever they're going to go to get their information, they get to have the sense of restoring their identity first so that when they come out here, they will not be consistently conquered by the ignorance that's out here. And so it's really insane. So anyway, I appreciate the room. I'm gonna go back on mute as well. I'm with the brother. I'm just as mad. And as I research, I'm getting more mad because I cannot believe they started a whole new movement in 2020 again during AKA the pandemic, right? COVID. And it's like that's when all this got started. Proper, right? Because now people are searching for identity. So that's when you create this new monster that's not there.
The worst part about it is that he was a former pimp, so black people are getting
Yeah.
hustled into separation by a former pimp whose mind works on how to exploit people, and he found a way to do it. He went from pimping, he went to hidden colors videos because black people love those. He got 5, 6 different DVDs of that, and then when that ran its course, came out with this FBA stuff, and black people, as you're saying, with no identity, swallowed it up because we are searching for it. And the church hasn't given us any identity. So if something sounds good to us, we run with it as a people. And therefore, as you said, taken advantage of, even by our own people. Go ahead, A1. You had your mic unmuted.
You remember when it was 2024 and white people were saying you need to look at what Project 25 is. We didn't know. We just started searching it. And white people were telling us, because I didn't hear no blacks saying it, they picked up on it later on saying, this is going to affect you blacks. They showed that a collective group, which Trump said, he said, I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. I haven't read it. But as soon as he got in office, he rolled out every single thing that was written in that project, and it was all to target black people. He's dismantling all the accomplishments we got since the Civil Rights Act, 1964 Civil Rights. He's going after DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. He's going after affordable housing. He's going after health care. Okay. And he fired all those black people that are in office. Now, a couple of months ago, they started restructuring the elections to limit the black vote. These are the things that people should be focusing on. The stuff that Tariq Nasheed is gearing us to is just a distraction. These are the real things that are impacting us. And black people are not focusing on it. So this is where my passion comes from. We can see tangible things that a government that we vote for every single year. We trust in the government for them to fix things. And since this orange man got in office, we ain't never heard nobody talk like this before. Okay, he's a criminal, 90 something indictments, brag about dealing with prostitutes, paying off prostitutes, saying I could grab a woman's vagina and nothing will happen to me. A laundry list of stuff, but somehow we're targeting other people who look like us and manufacturing them as the problem. This, it's like we're in the Twilight Zone. We just need the Twilight Zone music. This is crazy now. I mute my mic.
Can I say something?
Go
Yeah,
ahead, sis. Who's that said, can I say something? Go ahead.
It's me. I'm trying to figure out this app, but it's not letting me. I
We
was
can
trying
hear
to
you.
raise my hand.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, so I wanted to piggyback on what the young lady was saying earlier, in regards to city council, in regards to her brother getting this funding, in regards to her being, appreciate being recognized by this one white lady who gave him the funding. This is a tactic that they've been using for quite some time. And I want to put Lancaster, Pennsylvania on the map because right now we are sitting with a new mayor who is Puerto Rican. It's the first Puerto Rican ever in this county, the first Puerto Rican to ever hold this position. He was just brought in January. And I've been following city council for um, over 8 years. I've been debating with them on certain things, but I say this because now that he is in position, he's not doing anything for the blacks, Hispanics, or our community. They have put in position nonprofit organizations during these last 4 years that I've witnessed, and I can clearly see that they are only positioning these refugees. They're positioning these refugees and immigrants from outside of here who don't know how to read or maybe speak proper English, so they can't communicate to get the public to use any type of funding for purposes of nonprofits that are actually helping the community. So what this mayor, which he's a former CEO of an asset corporation, who would he would position nonprofit new businesses, small businesses, to come into our city, and he would give them funding to start these small businesses. And what happens is, or what has happened is that he's even though he's Puerto Rican, he's choosing a white culture or anyone outside of our city to to get this funding. And now we're dealing with church roll services who have furloughed all of their employees because they knew that they were being audited, and they couldn't figure out, they couldn't show the books because um, it was a mismanagement of funds, and they didn't use the funds for what it was to be used for. So therefore, it's a big publication. It came out, and they furloughed their employees. They're at this very moment they're shutting down these nonprofit organizations who receive the funding from the $14 billion that was released for the United States before Biden left office. It was to end the homelessness in America. So they released all this money, and all these nonprofit organizations started getting in place. And the leaders that I can speak for this gentleman, who is now mayor. He positioned these nonprofit organizations of other counties, and they were coming in from they were coming in from the woodwork. They were coming in from the mountains. And now you have all these red bearded men handling our contracts and our city streets. They do half-ass jobs. They barely even make it to work by 9 o'clock when they should be working at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. So they disrupt every every traffic in the city is being disrupted right now. There's closed down streets. The pavement on the roads are not even being completed. They're doing more harm than good. And now we have a data research center that's been approved behind our back as taxpayers. And we had it through the media, the press. We are going against these data research centers that they are trying. They're forcibly. So now we have these guys from Jersey, these fake ass Jewish people. They went into the synagogue here, and now they're owning a church that I physically went into, and they live like slums. They're so dirty. I had to record it. It's horrible the way they live in this synagogue, where the curtains are falling apart. The beds are all mixed in one. They got clothes everywhere in their dormitories. And when you go to city council and when you go to speak to these people about helping the actual organizations that need the help, that are physically doing something for the community, they turn the blind eye, and they position the gatekeepers. They put your own people behind the secretary's desk so they can argue with you and tell you that they're on vacation. You have to schedule a meeting. You have to come in for an appointment. If you don't have an appointment, no, I need to see him right now. They utilize taxpayers' money to do everything opposite than helping the Spanish and Blacks community, that are the only ones that are actually bringing forth the funds so you can have a salary. So it's mind-boggling me to believe that any person in my culture, and just like the lady, she's from the housing market. She just got positioned as city council. I asked her, what are you going to do for the Spanish community? She said, well, I'm just learning. I don't know nothing. So they have inexperienced workers. They're positioning, even at the Department of Public Welfare. They're all from a different country. And if you ain't white, you ain't working there. And if you're not from a refugee camp, or if you're not from, immigration, you can't work at the public welfare anymore. You have to be of a specific origin. They're not employing Spanish and Black people, maybe one or two, because they have to fit in and be a gatekeeper so they can control their people. But they're not giving us any type of structure. It's all being broken down because they are positioning inexperienced workers. I am witnessing this with my own eyes. And my dad, we come from a foundational church, and when we ask for funding, and it's multiple churches here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, you can research this. It is crime after crime. This is unheard of. And all of the funding is going to outsiders. And then they're closing down these nonprofits. They just closed down the school, for a school that's been open for 40 years. And they stole in front of my eyes. There was maybe $2.9 million that went into this project at the Lancaster Rec. And they were supposed to go through an expansion so they can create more opportunity for the kids' development. And they went and closed the entire school and stole the funding right now. And you can research this. It's online. The school district of Lancaster, they're missing $15 million. So now the kids have to be with limited teachers because they furloughed them just to excuse them. And they're using the computer, saying that it was a glitch in the system and they can't figure out where the $15 million went to. That is bogus. That's bullshit. And it's sad that we have to continue to be now hosted by outsiders And we have to go off of what they say. They're getting the housing, they're getting the privileges that they have for single mothers, for the disabled folks, the unhoused people. They're getting everything that was put in place for the taxpayers you know to 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 have some type of stability. It's unbelievable that we are going to continue to think that this is working in their favor. No, they even started an African museum, and they started an African museum to host our history, and they're all full of white people. So when I go in there and I question them, even the NAACP, I questioned the guy. I said, "There's so much going on right now. What are you doing?" And he's sitting next to a Jewish guy. Oh well, he's the founder. He ain't no damn founder. He's just your freaking your slave, or the man that you have to report to. Why can't we just
Hey,
be? I'm sorry.
here's the answer for all of that. Micah 2, I believe it is, and 10. This is how you gotta approach it before you go crazy out here. I think Micah chapter 2, verse 10, Rita.
Sir. Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. Arise ye and depart.
God says, arise and depart. What does he mean by that? He's talking about don't put so much stock in this place. We are so worried about the things that are here in Babylon the Great. God says, arise and depart from this. Read on.
For this is not your
This
rest.
ain't our rest. All of that stuff that, I hear, I can hear what you're saying. It's legit. I know I definitely, we all see it. But what gives us peace of mind as Israelites is we know this ain't our rest. Don't none of this stuff at the end of the day concerning the second coming of our Messiah matter. The whole society issues and funding this and the funding that and history here and history there. When you understand this is not our rest, that we've got a kingdom that's on its way, that God is preparing, and we can look up and see the signs of the times, how the Iran war and is drawing the what do they call it, Carmanians and the Arabians together slowly but surely, and that's going to be the major war to draw out all nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat. We understand this ain't our rest. We don't let those things move us one way or another. Do they make a wise man mad? They surely do. But changing them, we know this ain't our rest. Let them do what they do, and we gonna do what God told us to do. Read on.
Because it is polluted.
Place is polluted. That's why you see so much of injustice that you talking about, and paying people off and putting the ignorant in certain places to argue with you. The place is polluted. You're not going to change the people that do not follow after the commandments of God and know who they are. You're not changing their minds. Their mind is polluted with American culture, history, society. Is polluted with the thoughts of the white man. Read on.
It shall destroy you.
It'll destroy you. And it has destroyed us as a people. But for those that know who they are, you have to approach it as this ain't our rest. And we see what they doing out there. Well, we're gonna fight it with the word of God, one Israelite at a time, to repent and keep the commandments of God and gather ourselves together as a nation that we know we are not desired. And that is what God is waiting on. That we gather ourselves together, that we keep the commandments. We have one mind, one body, one spirit, and we work together amongst each other in a nation. The same way that God took a nation from took a nation out of a nation with where was Egypt. It's the same thing he's doing now. We in spiritual Egypt right now, and he's building a nation within a nation, and he's gonna take us out of here. And that's why we gotta remember this ain't our rest. Just like our ancestors, when we came out of Egypt, when we came out of there, they was thinking about, hey, let's go back to there. Because that was their rest. Their mind hadn't departed from this place, like God said in Micah 2, rise ye and depart. Separate your mind from this stuff here. Think on heavenly things, as Paul said, and focus on that and the raising up of your people in the commandments of God. Otherwise, you'll go crazy with the evil that this man does because it's polluted our people's minds. You're not going to change it until they know who they are. As the sister Dr. O was saying earlier, how those with no identity are taken advantage of. They are. And you explained a lot of the ways that they are taken advantage of. Well, what's the solution? They need to know who they are in God. And I'm not just talking about no child of God, no Christian stuff, because that hasn't helped us or changed anything for us as a people in the 4 centuries that we've been here. We talking about knowing that they are the people of the book, what tribe they come from, what God requires of them. And then you can build them from there, and God will build the kingdom from that. And that's what we gotta focus on, because they're being taken advantage of and destroyed. Here's a precept too. Jeremiah 50 verse 6. This goes also with what Dr. O was saying earlier about those that lack identity being destroyed. That's why when it comes to brothers that are Israelites, people always on the outside harp on all they talk about is identity, race, 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 because that's where it starts for us as a people. That's where it starts. And then once we have a common uh um I guess you say race in God, then we can build from there, because we all on the same page if we know what's required of us by our God. You keep trying to leave out the identity part of our people, then everybody got an opinion. Everybody got an opinion on what they think works. But when we all unite in one mind that we are the Israelites, now God gives us the direction of how to move forward. That's why identity is so important to us that have been stripped of it purposely by our oppressors. But look, God prophesied that. Jeremiah 50, started verse 6, read 6 and 7.
Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 6. My people have been lost sheep.
We are lost. We are lost. We do not know our homeland. We do not know how to gather together. We do not know how to fend for ourselves behind enemy lines. That's why a lot of our people assimilate, and then they are able to be taken advantage of, put in positions to fight against their people because they are lost sheep. Read on. You on
Sheep.
mute?
Yes, sir. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray.
That's the pastors. That's the shepherds. They caused us to go astray because they didn't know our identity. They couldn't teach it to us because they was propped up by Caucasians to keep the people asleep. The same way in the civil system of a society, they put people in positions to fight against us, giving them talking points, and they use blackface, but they got white talking points to shut down their own people, so they don't look like the bad guy. That's the same thing in Christianity, where they are using Caucasian European talking points of religion with blackface on it to keep us docile. The pastors have pitied us not. Go ahead.
They have turned them away on the mountains.
Uh-huh.
They have gone from mountain to hill.
We used to be a great and mighty people here, here alone in America. We went from mountain to hill. We was on top. Now we on bottom. What changed? We lacked unity. They destroyed the unity amongst us in the 50s, in the 60s, hell, the 40s with Marcus Garvey. He started that unity, and it built from there. It went on to Malcolm X having that unity. MLK had that unity. and it was destroyed through MLK. And now we all individual people, and now we have been divided and conquered, and now black people are profiting from that same division, making up stuff like FBA. They're profiting off of the division of black people, furthering the destruction. Rito, Rita, where you at, man? Stop muting
Yes,
your
sir.
mic.
Yes, sir. They have forgotten their resting place.
God said we forgot our resting place. We forgot where we came from. We forgot that we are from Israel, that our homeland, our capital is Jerusalem, not Washington, D.C. We forgot our resting place, which goes back to Micah chapter 2, verse 10, where God said, arise, depart. This is not your rest. Don't put so much stock in the things that are going on here in Babylon the Great. This ain't our rest. The only way you're so passionate about that is you forgot your resting place. You forgot where God had ordained for us, that He carved out in this earth for us. It's not here in America, it's Jerusalem, the city of peace. That's what Jerusalem means, the city of peace. That's our resting place, not here. Reno,
Verse 7. All that found them have devoured them.
that goes back to what Dr. O was saying earlier. Without an identity, that don't have it are taken advantage of. All that found them have devoured them because we lack identity. They can easily divide and conquer us because you a FBA, you label yourself as a FBA. You label yourself a Jamaican. You a Haitian. You a Nigerian. You a Black American. They have divided us and devoured us. God said, all that found them devoured them. And watch this. Keep reading.
And their adversaries said, we offend not.
We ain't did nothing wrong. They wanted this. They wanted this position. They wanted this money. We haven't done anything. They wanted the crack. They wanted a different name. We let them have it. We ain't did nothing wrong.
AZ,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna post a video in the chat that's gonna blow your mind because Tariq Nasheed is worried about people coming here and taking shit. I see this happening in New York. Right under our noses where I live, I see this happening. This is a town in Michigan. I'm not going to say nothing. I just want y'all to watch it. It's a short video. This is what's happening, okay? Because it started, New York City got a Muslim mayor. This is not the only place that got a Muslim mayor. Look what this guy is doing. And you tell me what's worse, what Tariq Nasheed complaining about or what y'all about to see right here. Look at this. Oh, give me one sec.
Are you playing at A1? If you are, it sounds kind of like robotic.
Yeah, I want y'all to look
Oh,
at the
okay, I
video.
see it. I see you posted it.
I want
Okay.
y'all to look at this. You tell me what's a threat. What Tariq Nasheed talking about or this right here? This is happening. This is real life. Y'all black people, y'all ain't doing shit to stop this. This is real life. This is happening right now. White
The
people pointing this out.
caterpillars,
Check that out. All of y'all look at it and come back.
that's the caterpillars, A1.
Z, that's power right there.
Yeah.
That's power. They said they changed the Home Depots, their signs, the street signs, everything in the community to cater to them. And this is Tariq Nasheed complaining. You watch this. I see this already happening in New York. And I already see them position themselves in position of power. So that's why I said, show me someone, an ethnic group that's impacting the way you live. These people are doing it. This is undeniable.
But A1, it goes back to what we talking about right there. You know why they able to do that? They have one common identity. They have one common thought process. They are all on the same page.
Hey, remember, the Bible says that they're going to remember their nature. They work together because there's 12 different groups of them. Remember, there was 12 sons of Ishmael. They ain't fighting about which one is from where. They working together. This is direct evidence on American soil.
That's it. That goes back to us. Don't put so much stock in uh Babylon the Great. It's gonna be destroyed. Don't let it destroy you. What we got to do, get that in Baruch 2, verse 30. What, just like A1 was saying, we come together like that. When we do what that video just we show with that video where they take it over Michigan, we do that, we going home, y'all. God ain't gonna let us stay here. God waiting on us to get our mind right, to be the holy people that he created us to be the righteous people that we are, and God said he gonna bring us home.
Z, and they
And they
doing
all
that.
look out for each other.
They doing that with a fake God. That God is
Right.
fake.
How much more with us? Man.
We the only ones divided. They all look out for each other. They could bring their son who's homeless with a drug addiction and sit him in the front seat of City Hall. You'll be answering questions to him. And it's just unbelievable how they position their people. It don't matter what situation, they come straight out of the gutter and they will place him and fire you. And they all look out for each other. The prime example is what's going on with the Charlie Kirk issue right now in the courts. They all lying and they all looking out for each other.
You right.
Now we got Nolan Wells. They all lying and they all looking out for each other in prominent positions, from judges to sheriffs to
Mm-hmm.
they're all
You right.
looking out for each other, and we're the only ones trying to figure out why we're so divided. And I get passionate with our prophets here at IUIC because I'm not understanding why these grown ass men don't like correction. If you believe in God, God is a God of order. You don't like when the men put you in your place because they're trying to identify orderly conduct. You don't like when they say certain things that pisses you off because you don't want to maintain a orderly structure. We're so divided and so
Well, that's why, that goes back to what I was saying earlier in Micah 2, where we have it'll destroy you with a sword destruction. Man that you're talking about are coming from a destroyed mind state and got to be built up. They got to be built up over time. In the same way with women, we all was in that beast of a system and had our minds, our thoughts after the way of Babylon the Great, what we grew up in, what we have been learned of, what we learned in the school system, and how we was raised. We were all a part of that system of thinking, and they got to be built up to think different, and that takes time. And some get it quicker than others. Some get it quicker than others, but we all, the one third, the elect, is going to get it, and they are going to endure to the end. You're going to see some kick against the pricks and they're going to fall off. And that's exactly what God wants them to do, because he's pruning the tree. Like it says in John 15 about Christ. God prunes every limb of his, every branch. So everybody that ends up and grows on that tree is the ones that are the elect. So you're going to see people fall off that ain't going to take correction. They was here for a time, and they endured for a little time, but they eventually fell off because they wasn't a part of that end all be all goal. But read Baruch chapter 2, verse 30, and then I think it's Baruch chapter 4, and I think it's the last verse on that. But read Baruch 2 and 30 real quick.
Yes, sir. Baruch chapter 2 and verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people.
We have always had our own idea of how to uh run our own societies and run our own life, and it's never worked out for us. We can't live our lives like Caucasians, like Arabs, like Asians. We can't run our life and think like they do. They don't have a God, like A1 was saying. They got a made up God. Sure, you'll see worldly success where they'll be taking over things. They'll bring in, like you said, somebody on drugs, and he'll fire you, sit in the city council. All of that stuff work for them on a worldly dynamic because they operating after the world. We don't have that liberty as the sons and daughters of God. Anything that we do, it is going to have to go through the obedience of God for him to okay it. We his kids. Everybody else could do what they want to, but when it come to us, if we go around the back door and try to do something different, God gonna make sure once you get through that back door, it's gonna be hell in that house. And that's what we found out here. We went through the back door and did things different than how God wanted us to do it. But once we got into the house, what did MLK say? I feel I integrated my people into a burning house. Cause yeah, you can go through that back door. Once you get in there, God gonna make sure that thing burned down on you. Because we can't do anything without His approval. But we've always been stiff necked, he says. But read on.
But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember
That's
themselves.
what's taking place now. Why you think it's so much kickback against the Israelites teaching blacks and Latinos that we are the Israelites according to the Bible? Is because they don't want us to remember ourselves. And when we don't remember ourselves, we are divided and they can conquer us where you won't even see successful things like that video that A1 posted where Muslims they got a fake God. But you know what they do? They remember who they are. They ain't worried about the damn 12 sons of Ishmael. They coming together because they know that it's strength in numbers. It's strength in unity. And they ain't worried about none of that other stuff. They know that, hey, we here is better than where we was because the white man over there destroyed. So you know what? We gonna go over there where he at, and we gonna gather ourselves together. We gonna unify, and we gonna take over this stuff. Why? Because they remember themselves. Identity is important to success because if you don't have that identity or that unity, then you got one ignorant Negro that can come in there and betray it and destroy everything. Look what happened to the Black Panthers. One nigga not on the same mind frame, he a FBI informant. Got Fred Hampton killed. Yeah, the daggone MLK stuff. He start letting white people come in there and march with him, writing his speeches. Boom, destroyed. Black community gone. Integration gone. And he didn't realize it was a problem until afterwards. I feel I have integrated my people into a burning house. That's his words. That's what he said. So God says we gotta remember ourselves, and we're going to do it. And once we remember ourselves, look what happens. Keep reading.
Verse 31. And shall know that I am the Lord their God.
Now we're going to come together on one accord with one God. No more Christianity, no more Islam, no more spiritual, no more denomination, non-denomination, no more Moors, no more sovereign nigga. We're going to be under one God when we remember ourselves. We got to remember ourselves and then have our one God and obey him. Read on.
For I will give them an heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity.
We'll come on one accord. And that's what Islam, see, you saw with A1 video. They praising a rock with one mind. And look what they doing. And it's not even real. It's fake. It's a figment of their imagination. But they unified on that one imaginary God. And look where it's gotten them in the land of opportunity. Us, we got all kind of different gods in our mind instead of the one true God of the Bible. And look at us, destroyed as a people. Got to come away from this whole FBA stuff, man. It ain't nothing but another device used by a black pimp to destroy us, to keep us separate. Because them Jamaicans, them Haitians got off the same damn boat we got off of in the 1600s. We was all on the same boat. All them Brazilians, we was all on the same boat. They just stopped at a different area. Like, yep, all right, this y'all stop, get off here. This y'all stop here, get off here. This y'all stop, get off here. We'll take the rest of these niggas to America. All the same people. All went through slavery in a different place. That's it. Brothers and sisters being divided and conquered because we have not come back to our one true God to obey him. The man, the women, and the children as a nation, divided and conquered. Get that, and I think it's Baruch, the last scripture, Baruch 4. Baruch 4, I think it is. And then I'll mute my mic. Baruch 4, last script.
Yes, sir. Baruch chapter 4 and verse 37.
Yep, that's what I was
Lo,
thinking.
lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away.
We were sent away into slavery, into the sub-Sahara slave trade, the 1619 slave trade, the colonization of the Americas in 1492. Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, we were sent away from our homeland of Israel. Read.
They come, gathered together
We're going to come back to God, gather together, one, when we remember who we are. That's what Baruch 2 and 30 said. Now watch the next part of us being gathered. Once you remember who you are, we're going to gather together on what?
from the east to the
Yeah,
west.
no matter, you just ain't in America. It's from the east to the west because God scattered all the Israelites from the east to the west. It wasn't just in one place. Your brothers is in Jamaica. Your brothers is in Haiti. Your brothers is in the Caribbeans. Your brothers is still in the west coast of Africa. Your brothers is still on the east coast of Africa. You got brothers in Australia. You got brothers in damn Russia. You got brothers in China. God scattered us from the eastern hemisphere to the western hemisphere. But we gonna come gather together. Read on.
They shall gather together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One.
The word of God is what's going to gather us together. When we remember who we are, the word of God will gather us together. What did Satan do to when he seen that starting to take fruition? Whispered in a pimp's ear, FBA, FBA. Tell the niggas they foundational black America. They different from they brothers that got there in Jamaica. They different from they brothers in Haiti. Tell them that. And what did a wicked Negro do? The wicked nigga went and repeated it to keep us divided when God is gathering. Satan is in booklet that we have. We can also email that to you as well. That's a free beginner's booklet. We'll email that to you also at biblicalsmoke@gmail.com. Also, that is not a place for counsel questions. Uh, that's not what that is. That is a bridge for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, for questions of counsel and things of what you should do. That ain't what we do in that email. So don't send those things there, because I see them there a lot of the times. That's not what we do in that email. That's a link, a bridge for the lost sheep to come into the body of Christ. All right. So I mute my mic. Kunta, you got it.
Yes, sir. Y'all heard it. BiblicalSmoke@gmail.com. All right, read it. Matthew 26.
Matthew chapter 26 and verse 6. Now when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman, having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much, and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this, that this woman hath done, be told for a memorial of her.
All right. So we always make mention of what the sister had done for our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Black Messiah, who gave his life that we also may have life. There is only one Messiah. He's a black man. So we do say that often. But Christ said, wherever we teach the gospel on the face of the earth, we must make mention of what this sister had done. Then you have heard the true gospel. With that, y'all, we're going to shut the room down. Room closing. Ready?